Check, 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 check. Check, 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 check. Mic check 1, 2. My mic's getting messed up. I think I need a new mic soon. What's up, chat? It's Monday night. Look, Freddy's back. I think he's been in jail for like a month because he was MIA in all the chats. Now he's back. We're going to get some great comments, some real informative comments about Karen and Ken and Billy. I don't know who these people are. But Freddy's gonna make it known. How's everybody doing tonight? It's Monday night. I got the window open because there's light outside. I don't see the light much anymore. I'm always working at night. Haven't had my coffee yet. It's brewing. But we got a little show today. Where's my sound effects? We got a little show today. Where's the oh, here's what we need. We have a show. 2024 floor election. Biden versus Trump. Volume 2. The sequel. I got updates. Trump update. We're gonna laugh at some Biden gaffes. We're just gonna watch some Biden gaffes and laugh at some Biden gaffes. Hold on, the music's too loud. Laugh at some Biden. Look at some Trump update. Trump won another state. Trump got taken off another ballot. Trump wins in the Supreme Court. Gets put back on a ballot that he was already taken off of. We got lots of tech news. We'll look into Elon Musk's first Neuralink victim. Apparently they can move a cursor with their brain now. So, you know, that's futuristic stuff. You just have your computer plugged into your brain. What else? David and Goliath. Bible thumping. I don't think I've ever done the David and Goliath story. So we're going to do it today. We have Trump versus Biden and David versus Goliath. Unfortunately, Trump is the Goliath in this story. And Biden, he looks like a David. He's weak and small and probably throws rocks. You know. It's not an apt comparison. But hopefully Biden doesn't have the strength of God at his back to bring down Trump. But we shall see. But that's it. That's what the show is today. Let's get into it. Let's get into it. Mark Madness going up. That's right. That's right. New York Times never lets me read their dang articles. We're going to jump right into it. Let's just get right into this news. Y'all want to start with... Well, first I wanted to start with this poll from New York Times, but for some reason, every time I am collecting articles, it will show me the article. But then when I open it in the show, they're trying to sell me something. So, unfortunately, we can't look at this poll, but it was an approval ratings poll that shows Trump way ahead. I know I'm not a big poll guy, but I do like to check on the polls just to see what they're doing, get an idea. And the fact that Trump is ahead in all the polls against Biden, you know, that's a good sign. It's a good sign because the polls are biased against Trump. So if he's ahead in the polls, that's a good sign. Let's start with Biden, and then we'll get to all our Trump updates. You know, the president in chief. What's Politico got to say? Biden can still win if he runs like Harry Truman. Wasn't Harry Truman one of the ones that was in a wheelchair later in his life? This isn't the first time a Democratic president has faced anxieties about his chances and overcome them. Oh, we're trying to pump up Biden, pump up the Biden, pump up the Biden, pump him up with drugs. That's the only way he's going to be running anything. He can't even walk. How's he going to run? What? The subject everyone is talking about. A liberal big city mayor wrote not long ago is, how can we peacefully get rid of the present incumbent? Unless Democrats could agree on a replacement at the top of the ticket, they seem sure to lose the upcoming presidential and congressional elections. Here we go. They're already hinting at the replacement. Unless Democrats find a replacement. Uh-oh, Big Mike coming in hot. Okay, actually, the year was 1948. The mayor was Hubert Humphrey of Minneapolis, and the incumbent president in question was Harry Truman, not Joe Biden. The comparison is apt, nevertheless. In the spring of 1948, Truman, an accidental president who assumed office upon Franklin Roosevelt's death 3 years earlier, was at the nadir of his influence and popularity. His approval rating in the Gallup poll stood at an abysmal 36%. With the economy still reeling from runaway inflation, man, this is an apt comparison. The Cold War posing military challenges abroad and security dangers at home, and a restive public fatigue from 16 years of Democratic Party governance. Public fatigue from 16 years of Democratic Party governance. I had Democrat fatigue the first day they got into office. Most political insiders agree that Truman would lose the fall election to his likely GOP challenger, Governor Thomas Dewey of New York. Making matters worse, the president faced defections on his left and right. Does that mean Democrats were presidents for 20 years straight at this time? Wow. What years are this? Anyway, a shocker. If it all sounds familiar, it should, with Americans still rebounding from COVID and its inflationary shocks. Global democracy struggling in a pitched battle with autocrats, both abroad and at home. The country on edge over entrenched culture wars. Biden faces challenges similar to those that Truman confronted in 1948. Of course, it was. So we had 20 years of Democrats right before the country turned commie. Shocker. Shocker. Okay. Country on edge, culture war. Biden faced challenges similar that he confronted in 1948. What's more, he may be bleeding support to the right in the form of conspiracy theorist Robert Kennedy Jr. Robert Kennedy Jr. is not on the right. And left to gadflies like Cornel West and Jill Stein. Let's go. Hey, thank you, Cornel West and Robert Kennedy Jr. for sucking up those votes. Let's get it. Let's get it. You know, in the 2024 election, we had a bunch of rhinos who were like, oh, I don't like Trump. He's mean. I'm going to vote for the libertarian candidate. Who was that libertarian lady that was running last time? Oh my gosh. And I saw all these people making posts about her on my Facebook. I'm like, you're going to vote for this lady? You're going to throw your vote away on this lady? On this libertarian lady? What was that lady's name? Oh my gosh. She was like the third party candidate in 2024. Started with a J. Anyway, libertarian lady. Just say that you're going to legalize pot and you'll get all the right-wing potheads votes because they don't know how to observe. They're too high to observe the world and to see what happens when you legalize pot in a state. It's never coming back. Colorado's never coming back. California's never coming back. They're all high all the time. No, stop it. At least call yourself a liberal. Jeez Louise. Crying about pot, recreational pot legalization. Crying about the drug war, which lowered crime. It reduced crime. Republicans crying about the 94 crime bill. That's the most base thing Joe Biden ever did. Do you know how much crime was reduced because of that? Stop and frisk in New York. Do you know how much that reduced crime? And I see people on the right crying about this stuff. I see people on the left crying about it. You don't like reduction in crime? You like abortion, and that reduces crime, right? Right? Why is that? Why is that, liberals? They only like reductions in crime when it has to do with eugenics. If we're killing people in mass and reducing the population, crime reduction is great. But if we're making better laws, stronger, more authoritarian laws, they don't like it. The libertarians don't like it. The right doesn't like it. The left doesn't like it. And then they want to bitch about crime. Pay attention. Pay attention now. Of course, Truman ultimately won re-election. He did so by following a blueprint designed by two advisors, James Rowe and Clark Clifford. And the good news for Biden is that their blueprint offers him a road home. No, the only blueprint, I keep saying blueprint. The only blueprint that offers Joe Biden a victory is if he swaps out for Michelle. Look at this picture of Joe getting a drinky drink. Is he at Chick-fil-A? He's somewhere in the hood because they got glass on the dang fast food windows, unless he's outside the restaurant. Look at this guy. This guy's been running the strongest country in the world for a year. I need a drinky drink right now. Right, meow. Thanks for putting the video up, baby. I see it didn't get a lot of views. I know that there are a lot of people that don't like me. So you might get some mean comments saying, "Oh, you making JS videos." Also, when I watched your video, I could tell that my mic was not on point. Shorts made some decent rounds. Yeah, thank you for the shorts. And also, you know, normally I would have the Discord window open, but nobody was on camera. Everybody was off camera. And so I just left the Discord window closed. But if everybody was on camera and we were talking and I had it on the screen, then you could like edit it so that you cut in between the people who were talking. I think that would have been better, but you know, you had to work with what you had to work with. So I should have had the Discord thing open, but yeah, nobody was on camera anyway. But they're saying that if Biden, look at this Lego ship right here, this collector's, this is I forget what it's called, but this ship right here is the first ship you see in A New Hope. Classic ship. I always thought it looked like a fist flying through the air backwards. This Lego set's like $1,000. Anyway, got distracted. Hit the GOP hard. You got to hit them hard. Champion civil rights, of course. That's part of the game plan. Champion civil rights. Pander to the women and the minorities, especially when you have an open border. You have a whole lot of new minorities here. You pander to them. You offer them special allowances. You give them free stuff. You know, even if they don't vote for you, someday their kids are going to vote for you. Democrats play the long game. They play the long game. We play the reactionary game. They do some crazy stuff, and then we try to react to it when it's too late. I've said this a million times. You don't stop things retroactively. You can't retroactively stop your country turning communist. Because once they take hold, they've already got the power, and they're playing the long game, and it's going to slowly happen. And we've watched it happen since the 60s. You cannot retroactively go back in time and stop that. You have to nip it in the bud before it ever starts. You got to be on it. Like white on rice and a glass of milk and a paper plate in a snowstorm. And we haven't done that. We pandered to the civil rights movement. We pandered to the women. We pandered to the blacks. We pandered to the brown people. We opened the borders. We give everybody free stuff. And then we wonder why our country is going down the crap hole. What's up, Stephen Wilt? Been a while. Yes, sir. So that's what's going on. They're saying if he runs like Truman, champion civil rights, the great migration of black Southerners to the North and Midwest. That's your party swap right there. It was not a party swap. The ideals of the parties did not change. People just moved. After the Civil War, a lot of the rich people from the North who had won the war came down and bought up all that land in the South that they had wiped the people out there. And a lot of people from the South once the slaves were freed, they moved up to the North and the Midwest to get jobs in industry and so forth. So it was not a party swap. It was just people moving. Anyway, the Great Migration of Black Southerners greatly accelerated in the 1930s and 1940s, created a new imperative for both parties in key industrial states like Ohio, Illinois, Indiana, New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania. All a bunch of garbage states, except Ohio has Jim Jordan. He's cool. Black voters formed a small but key swing constituency. And how's Trump doing with them black votes? I think he's going to get more black votes than any Republican ever yet again. But who knows if it's going to be enough? We'll have to wait and see. Now,
we also need Ukraine.
Let's watch some Biden. I didn't spend a lot of time collecting these, so we'll kind of just live look for stuff. I got one video here. We're gonna just reminisce on some gaffes. There's one new one that I don't have a clip of, but it's pretty funny. I don't know if it's in here, but let's watch some Biden gaffes and just laugh a little bit while I go get some coffee.
To make changes to fix the broken immigration system here. We
What up, producer?
Congress to make the changes to fix the broken immigration system here at home.
Well, that was America's 81-year-old President Joe Biden confusing Congress for Ukraine while speaking.
Ukraine is not Congress, Joe. Well, that might be a Freudian slip. Sometimes I think that he's not gaffing. He's having Freudian slips where basically Ukraine is our Congress now. We give them all our money. We fight. We're going to have, eventually people are going to be dying. Well, already people are dying, but American people are going to be dying. We send them all our money. And basically Ukraine is our Congress. So I think that's a Freudian slip.
About fixing the immigration system that is broken under his leadership. Joe Biden is the oldest.
I like that Australian accent. But let's keep going. Come on, give me the next one.
The sailors.
Questions. We're going to ask a total of each ask 2 questions. I will ask the first question. I will recognize the first question.
Could you imagine the interpreter that's in Zelensky's ear? The interpreter in Zelensky's ear is probably like, Zelensky, I don't know what the fuck this guy is saying. He's just mumbling a bunch of incoherent nonsense. I don't know how to translate this, Zelensky. And he's like, okay, we will freestyle. I'm an actor. I can handle this. I am great with improv.
Ask her. I'll ask a question, Joel, too. But Danny Kemp.
And here is Joe Biden getting a bit.
Hey, Jeff Hewitt found me from the Crucible. And why are you plugging other channels in my channel? What are you doing? I'm in the middle of a show. Telling somebody to go to another show. Jeff Hewitt found me from the Crucible.
Lost as he reads his pre-written speech.
The United States and Congress must, as I asked last week.
I'm just playing. I plug the Crucible all the time. I love the Crucible. I'm going to try to. Someday, I'll send an email. Someday we'll do an email. Mel Gibson had a strong Australian accent in Mad Max. I like the Australian accent on a lady.
It's stunning that we've gotten to this point. You know, we need to fully appreciate how it's wrong, how this is being viewed around the world.
Now, this next clip we're about to show you is hard to dismiss as the president declares it's been 65 years since the October 7 attack on Israel by Hamas.
But we know this year's Hanukkah is different. It's been 65 years since the deadliest day of the Jewish people since the Holocaust.
It's been 65 years since what happened like 2 months ago.
65 years.
He repeated it. He doubled down. Look at this Nikki Haley ad. Are you tired of Trump's chaos? Hey, why don't you fight the Democrats, you dumb
chaos. Nikki Haley, strong and proud. Vote Tuesday, March 5th.
No, I'm not gonna vote for Nikki Haley. This game looks cool, by the way. World of Warships. Look at this. Okay, enough of this. World of Wars.
And here is the president earlier this year speaking about the government's commitment to infrastructure.
Oh, you found me through Hake? I could have sworn the first chat I ever saw you in was in Crucible, and I thought that led you here. My bad. I was wrong. I could have sworn I seen you in the Crucible chats before, and I'd never seen you in Hake's chat. Interesting. I was wrong. He got 10 points. 10 points for Jeff Hewitt. I was wrong. Sorry for yelling at you, Stephen Will. Okay.
Over $1,300,000,300,000,000,300,000,000.
Hold on. Hold on, Joe. Wait till I get my money right. How much money? Over $1 billion, million, trillion, million, billion, trillion dollars.
Sure.
It's the deadliest day of the Jewish.
Speaking about the government's commitment to infrastructure.
Over $1,300,000,000,300,000,000,300,000,000.
Over $1,300,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000, was awesome. That's a lot of money, Joe. That's a lot of money from the big guy.
Over $1,300,000,000,300,000,000.
Over $1,300,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000. Oh man, always game for Biden blunders. I know. I just wanted to refresh our memory on some of the greatest gaffes.
Show, by the way.
He is talking about the benefits of catching a train.
And all the studies show, by the way, people get from point A to point B faster on a train than their car. They take the train. They take the train.
People get from point A to point B faster than on a train, faster than in their car. They take the train. They take the what?
Faster on a train than their car. They take the train. They take the train.
Joe Biden may be.
I would rather drive somewhere than ride a train, Joe. Especially with Pete Buttigieg. We got a new one with Pete Buttigieg. He called him Pete Booty Juice. He called him Booty Juice. We got a new one after this, but with Booty Juice on the scene, I don't ever want to ride a train. That's a horrible idea. Thing's gonna blow up in the middle of Ohio or something.
The oldest president in America's history, but he's determined to show that he knows the country's biggest pop stars. Unfortunately, though, during this speech, he managed to confuse Beyonce, Taylor Swift, and Britney Spears all in the same sentence.
Now, just to get here, Liberty and Bell had to beat some tough odds and competition. They had to work hard to show patience and be willing to travel over 1,000 miles. You could say even this harder than getting a ticket to the Renaissance tour or
the Renaissance tour?
Britney's tour. She's down in
Britney.
It's kind of warm in Brazil right now.
Brazil.
During Biden's presidency.
Wait, so that was like a Taylor Swift tour. Then he said Britney. Then he said she's in Brazil right now. He must have been talking about like Beyonce or something. What the hell? I mean, it's a pop culture gaffe. I would get that mixed up too, but he's just freestyling. What is he talking about?
Presidency, he's also taken up the opportunity to prove to America that he's fit and healthy. Just look at these occasions that he shows us he can jog.
Oh, he can jog. They put that man on a bike. Get that man off that bike. Where are you going, Joe? Joe, where are you going? Come back. He's going the wrong way, guys. We got to get him. Where are we? Oh, look, he's got a commie fist on his back. Remember the commie fist? He's got a commie fist on the back of his shirt. We are Belvedere. In what country? In what country that is anti-communist is it okay for the president of America to have the commie fist on his shirt? America is not a republic. America is a communist democracy now. I know they'll call it a constitution. Oh, we were founded as a constitutional republic. No, we're not. No, we're not. We're a damn communist democracy now. A democratic communist freaking it's not quite a dictatorship. Because you know what, Biden ain't dictating nobody. Biden ain't never dictated. But wow, we are a communist country now. We are not a constitutional republic. We're a communist democracy. The president is wearing the symbol of communism on his shirt. That's oh my God. If I see somebody with a Black Lives Matter shirt with a fist on it, I'm just asking them, are you a commie? You should leave America. You should leave. We don't want you here.
Your Excellencies, the President of the United States.
Did you see him come out with a little pep in his step? They just juiced our boy up. He just got them shots. He kind of pepped out. Put some pep in his step as he came out there. Look, oh yeah, he got juiced up. He is amped right now for APEC. He doesn't know what chair he's supposed to go to. And he doesn't know how to talk. He's higher than a kite right now. Oh, he is higher than a kite right now. This is like what it looks like when somebody does anyway. There's a certain drug when they do it, they kind of get like, it's called meth. He looks like he just slammed some meth. And he doesn't know what's going on right now.
Unfortunately, it's not always that easy for Joe Biden. He has been known to take a couple of falls.
That's right. Yeah, he just got his, it rhymes with Sharina Shrom. Sharina Shrom. He fell! Get him! Black Hawk down. President down. The package is down. He tripped on a wire. Look at that wire there. Hey, there's a wire there. Remember that one? No. Uh-oh, another staircase. Joe, it's a staircase! No! He made it. He was all right on that one. Get that man off that bike! They put that man on a bike. Get that man off that bike. Uh-oh. Oh, no. The endless staircase. This thing never ends. It's a triple entendre.
Here's another look back at some of Biden's finest moments.
And Joan Shingang, I'm going to pronounce it. Shanga.
What?
$159 billion left. America is a nation.
Don't have that man saying numbers. Don't put numbers on that man's script. 300 million billion trillion million dollars. 300,000 a billion 300,000 million trillion billion dollars.
Word. I was going to put him. The idea that
he doesn't have
Los Angeles and
that's younger. That looks like younger Biden. Is that one of the body doubles or one of the VR Bidens? Well, if it's a VR or a body double, it shouldn't be making gaffes. But you kind of gotta have even the VR program do some gaffes. Otherwise, people would know that it's fake. The body double has to make some gaffes. Otherwise, it's not a convincing act, right?
What am I doing here? For two reasons. One, we haven't been able to communicate it in a way that is, let me say another way.
Unfortunately, there are more and more of these moments as he's visibly confused.
This is a lot of gaffes. Dang. We're only halfway through all the gaffes. We're going to do the whole show. What is this? A Star Wars game? Oh, snap. Star Wars Unlimited. Star Wars card game? He almost 1-inch punched him. The Marine was like, don't get any closer, sir.
Here is Joe Biden at the start of the year speaking about the long conversation he had with UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak.
The United States and Europe are fully united. This morning, I had a long conversation with our NATO allies, German Chancellor Scholz, French President Macron, Prime Minister Sunak, and the Italian Prime Minister Meloni.
And let's not forget about the time Joe Biden said poor kids are just as smart as white kids.
We have this notion that somehow if you're poor, you cannot do it. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
Based, Joe. Based. Poor kids are just as bright and just as smart and just as talented as poor white kids.
Wealthy kids.
He just needed to add poor white kids. Yes, poor black kids are just as dumb as poor white kids.
Asian kids. No, I really mean it, but think how we think about it.
Sky News contributor Sophie Ellsworth says she's now at the point she almost can't watch Joe Biden anymore.
Now let's go to President Joe Biden, who's had yet another incoherent press conference. This one was so bad that his handlers moved in to cut the question and answer session short. Speaking
is this the hurricane?
In Hanoi, the president, he was confused.
Look, nobody likes
Vietnam
having celebrated international meetings.
He's about to have a
if
stroke.
You don't know what you want.
He's on that come down.
If you don't have a game plan. He may have a game plan. He just hasn't shared it with me. But I tell you what, I don't know about you, but I'm going to go to bed.
Look, he wants to lie down. And
He was in Vietnam and he told him he's going to go to bed? What? This is what we're dealing with. This is what other countries have to deal with when they want to do business with America. This guy's going to go to bed in the middle of the speech.
I think we're all on board with that. I think he needs a lie down. But when he's speaking in full sentences...
The sense of threat humanity faces, even more frightening than a nuclear war, is global warming going above 1.5 degrees in the next 10 years.
Global warming is more worse than a nuclear war. Well, it's confirmed. Nukes are fake. The president just said it. Don't worry about the nukes. Worry about the weather.
And we're in real trouble.
It's not
There's no way back from that.
What do you think about that?
I know, Matthew. This is why we only do this like once a year. I think we did one of the Biden gaffes episodes like a year ago. We got an election coming up. But really, it is sad. It's not even... I can only laugh at him so much. But it is sad.
That we've got to be far more worried about global warming being the end of the world than nuclear war.
Rita, this whole performance by Joe Biden, I will say, is an utter embarrassment to America.
Says Joe Biden is increasingly embarrassing.
As a matter of fact, as you walk into my office in the Oval Office in the United States Capitol, guess what?
Guess what?
You know who founded and designed and built the White House? An Irishman. No, not a joke. Not a joke.
No, I'm just wrong.
Yeah, they're laughing at you, not with you, Mr. President.
Indeed. It's, I mean, this obsession with Ireland is just embarrassing. And he's increasingly embarrassing, let's be frank, laughed at constantly. And I would say there's the chance of him not running or at least not getting the nomination must be increasing.
Not a joke. Joe Biden does not know where the other Oval Office is. Now, there's a new one, which I haven't been able to find it, but I saw it on, I think, Crowder's show or something. But
And now it is my great honor to
he basically he says I want to make sure that I get this quote right. 4 score and 7 and then some years, and then you know the thing, just basically still and it was like, wait, you were making an effort to make sure. He says right before he did a quote, and it was a quote from like Thomas Jefferson or some constitution, or I don't know what it was from, but he did a famous quote. And before he said it, he's like, all right, I want to make sure I get this quote right. And then he proceeds to butcher it. And it's like, that's you making sure that you get it right. Wow. But this is a new one. This is Booty Juice. Thank you, Secretary Booty Juice.
And now it is my great honor to introduce the President of the United States, President Joe Biden.
Thank you, Secretary Booty Juice.
Thank you, Secretary Buttigieg.
Mike's girlfriend was black.
Thank you, Secretary Booty Juice. I told you his name was Booty Juice. Joe Biden confirmed it. Are they going to let me read this? All right, now, enough Biden. Let's get to the main attraction. Let's get to the main attraction. Donald Trump.
It's a man, baby.
Age cutoff. Yeah, you have to be 35. I don't agree with the age cutoff because I don't care how old you are. Age is just a number. It's how smart you are, how competent you are. Because that age cutoff is going to cut off Trump. That age cutoff means we're voting for Vivek Ramaswamy Lama Ding Dong every election, or Nikki Haley. We don't get any of the older, wiser gentlemen. I would prefer you be 70. Because then you've been here for 70 years. You've seen America. Anyway, is Trump still on the Illinois ballot? Okay, Trump updates. Is Trump still on the Illinois ballot? So, also, breaking news today. Today, Supreme Court decided that Trump is going to stay on the Colorado ballot. So all these states that are taking him off their ballots, it's just they're peacocking. They're peacocking. They're trying to be flashy, and they're trying to make him look bad. But it's not going to hold up. The people in Illinois, Colorado, there was another state that did it. They're all still going to be able to vote for Trump. Cook County Judge Tracy Porter put her ruling on hold until Friday, expecting Trump's lawyers to appeal. They did so hours after the decision was handed down. For now, nothing has changed at the ballot box. If Porter's ruling does go into effect, she ordered that any votes cast for Trump be suppressed. She ordered that Trump's votes should be suppressed if her order goes into effect, which it won't. But just saying that about a former president that you're going to suppress, they're rubbing it in our face that they will do whatever they can to swing an election. Cook County judge on Wednesday ordered former President Donald Trump's name off of the Illinois primary ballot, but early voting for the March 19th primary election is already underway. So what does the judge's ruling mean? It means they're a retard, is what it means. Cook County Circuit Judge Tracy Porter originally put her ruling, it's a woman judge, shocker, ruling on hold until Friday, expecting Trump's lawyers to appeal. They did so hours after the decision was handed down. In response, and at the request of Trump's lawyers, Porter then clarified that her ruling would remain on hold until the issue is fully resolved. I bet you see Blatt too. Fully resolved in higher courts. She has also said that her ruling would remain on hold if the U.S. Supreme Court hands down a ruling inconsistent with hers in a case dealing with a similar decision in Colorado. Let me see. Tracy Porter. Let's see what she looks like. I'll bet you that she's black. And sure enough, she's like, she's black, but she's trying to look white. She's black, but she's definitely trying to look white. Like, this is her then. She also looks like a man. I think that's a man. You're looking like a man. And you're going through the skin bleaching like Michael Jackson in order to look like a white woman. That's a man. I don't care what you say. That's a man. So it's all these black women judges. Crazy. You wonder why people turn into racists. You wonder why. They make me this way. Around Josh, go for now. All right, later. You don't gotta announce your exit. Anyway, where was I? Okay. So yeah, this judge tried to take him off the ballot. It's not gonna hold up, just like it didn't hold up in Colorado. The Supreme Court ruled today that he's gonna be back. He appealed. Trump appeals Illinois judge's ruling to remove him from the ballot in March 19th primary. Former President Donald Trump on Thursday appealed a Cook County judge's ruling to remove him from the Illinois primary ballot over his role in the attack on the U.S. Capitol on January 6, 2021. Whack. And then we have other updates. He just won another state. Oh, wait. Okay. So he won the Idaho Republican caucus. Trump wins against Nikki Haley. So he won another state. He's won in Ohio. He beat Nikki Haley there. And the Supreme Court's decision on Trump's immunity could turn on a single question. The Supreme Court will likely produce thousands of words when it decides this year whether former President Donald Trump may claim immunity from special counsel Jack Smith's election subversion charges. But for now, court watchers are stuck parsing the first 29. That's how many words the court used to lay out the question presented in Trump's immunity appeal. The question that the 9 justices will focus on when they meet in April to hear arguments and then sit down to craft an opinion that will either greenlight Smith's prosecution of the former president or shut it down. Although the question appeared straightforward, some experts saw worrying signs for Trump below the surface in how the wording seemed to reject his most aggressive claims. But the tea leaves presented a mixed picture for prosecutors as well. They suggest the possibility of an outcome that will require even more of a delay and additional legal wrangling before the case can go to trial. Even if Trump's claims of absolute immunity are rejected by the justices. The framing of the case was extremely carefully crafted, said Norm Eisen, who served as White House ethics czar during the Obama administration as a CNN legal analyst. And he said it signals the only reasonable outcome here, which is to reject presidential immunity. That is not the only reasonable outcome. That's wrong. It's a bad interpretation. More than 2 weeks after Trump requested that the Supreme Court block a lower court ruling against him, the justices announced Wednesday they would decide the dispute. In a terse one-page order, the court expedited review and said it would hear arguments during the week of April 22. It also defined the question it intends to answer, whether and if so, what extent does a former president enjoy a presidential immunity from criminal prosecution for conduct alleged to involve official acts during his tenure in office, the court wrote. Every time the Supreme Court grants an appeal, it settles on a specific blah, 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 blah. A bunch of nonsense. They're coming at our boy is the point. And we're almost done with Trump updates, election updates. Earlier this week, Biden and Trump both went down to the border let's just watch the article on this one. Brownsville, Texas, on the banks of the same Rio Grande, but 300 miles apart, President Joe Biden and GOP challenger Donald Trump on Thursday surveyed the U.S.-Mexican border and tussled from a distance over who is to blame for the nation's broken immigration system and how to fix it. Who do you think?
I understand my predecessor's legal past today. So here's what I would say to Mr. Trump. Instead of playing politics with this issue, instead of telling members of Congress to block this legislation, join me, or I'll join you in telling the Congress to pass this bipartisan border security bill. We can do it together. You know and I know it's the toughest, most efficient, most effective border security bill this country has ever seen. So instead of playing politics with the issue, why don't we just get together and get it done?
This is a Joe Biden invasion. This is a Biden invasion over the past 3 years. I call him Crooked Joe because he's crooked. He's a terrible president, the worst president our country's ever had, probably the most incompetent president we've ever had. But it's allowing thousands and thousands of people to come in from China, Iran, Yemen, the Congo, Syria, and a lot of other nations. Many nations are not very friendly to us.
Trump went to Eagle Pass. Is that with Abbott? Border town experiencing the most illegal crossings. Joe Biden stayed far away from that. Biden visited Brownsville, nearly 325 miles southeast of Eagle Pass, where crossings have dropped sharply in recent months. Right. So for the cameras, Biden went to where they've been cleaning it up for Biden's visit. Trump went to the worst spot. Trump went to the hood. Biden went to a place that looked nice. And that's the difference between the two. So they both went down to the border. Immigration's crazy. The fact that anybody could argue that it's more Trump's fault than Biden's fault is an idiot. These people should not be allowed to vote. These are the 18-year-old college girls who are canceling out 45-year-old grown men with families and children and houses and businesses. You have an 18-year-old liberal arts student canceling out your vote. Thanks, democracy. Thanks, democracy. Yay. I have a pink-haired retard canceling out my vote. Yay. And a bunch of illegal immigrants and thugs and criminals, everybody canceling out everybody's vote. But we got to protect our democracy. And guess what? A republic is not that much different. Republicanism is leftism. It always was. It always was on the left of the political compass until America. And then we started to call it right wing. It's not right wing. It's still an election where your vote is being canceled out by some idiot. So, well, anyway, look into it. Women voting estimates, allegedly. All right. Last but not least in the Biden-Trump stuff, and then we're done with this. State of the Union address is Thursday, March 7th at 9 p.m. Eastern. That is 7 p.m. my time. So I will plan on starting a stream up at like 6:30 on Thursday, and we will watch the State of the Union address. I've watched all the State of the Union addresses since I got into politics, and so best one is Pelosi ripping up the speech from Trump. But Biden's got some funny ones in there too. So we'll watch Biden's last, hopefully pray to God, because we get another 4 State of the Union addresses from Biden after this one. You kiss America goodbye. But you probably already can kiss America goodbye. Give it up. Give it up. I know a lot of y'all worship the Constitution. It doesn't work anymore. It hasn't worked for years. It's just a piece of paper. it doesn't mean anything anymore because we don't have a moral and religious country. We're not following God. We've changed the Constitution and amended it so many times. It's like if you have a religion, you want the material to be as close to the source material as possible, and you want to conserve that. You don't want to let it be changed and amended and added to and taken away from over and over again, which the Constitution has. So this is why we are where we are, because people are soft and they started to worship the Constitution instead of worshiping God. That's why America's going down the drain. Y'all are worshiping a worldly idea of fake rights given to you by people who died a long time ago. Your rights don't exist. You don't have any rights. Natural law rights, God-given rights, human rights. Rights are a fake, imaginary thing that we invented just to basically let people do the wrong thing, and we have to put up with it. We have to tolerate you doing what we don't like. We're not allowed to fix that. And who enforces your ability to do that is the government. So really, your right is not a God-given right. It's a government-given right. And you just pretend it's a God-given right, but you don't know God. So what are you even talking about, you damn liberal? It's time to tighten up, boys. We're gonna have to get a little more authoritarian. We're gonna have to strap this thing down. A little bit of fascism never hurt nobody. A lot can kill you. I get it. But we might need a little bit more. Okay. We'll watch the State of the Union address, though. It should be fun. It works if you work it. No, it doesn't work. It does not work anymore. It does not work anymore. There's so many amendments that don't make any sense. That's all right. If you like democracy, then have fun with that and watch America keep slipping and falling and going down and down and down and down and down. Watch. All right. Let's move on. More politics before we get to the Elon Neuralink stuff, which I'm trying to see what this guy's putting in people's brains. But we got this Eric Adams story. Eric Adams calls for modifying sanctuary city status. This is funny. He did a press conference, and he's talking about how New York is a sanctuary city, and the audience is like, who voted for this? Who voted to make New York a sanctuary city? Nobody voted for that. Yeah, nobody voted for it. He just got elected, and then he snuck in there, and he did it. And now all these sanctuary cities are seeing the error of their ways, and they get mad when you send the immigrants there. They want to send the immigrants to Utah and Florida and Texas and in middle America, to the farms, to the farmland. While Bill Gates is buying up the farmland, the immigrants are working the farmland. It's crazy. Everything is upside down. Everything is upside down. America is not America anymore. But it's pretty funny. He's backtracking now. After a series of well-publicized crimes allegedly committed by migrants, Mayor Eric Adams appeared to support a modification of laws that make New York a sanctuary city. Shocker. Adams said on Tuesday that migrants who commit serious crimes should be deported, and the city should be able to communicate with federal ICE agents. Where are you going to deport them to, Adams? You're going to deport them to Utah? We just did a story last week about a whole family from Venezuela and it tells their harrowing story of how they traversed the jungle and the jaguars, and they made it to America, and they got on a bus to New York, and then New York flew them out on a nice plane to stay in a nice hotel. Where? In Utah, in Salt Lake City, Utah. A blue cesspool in the middle of a red state. And that's how they do it, ladies and gentlemen. That's how they do it. He doesn't want to deport them to Mexico. He wants to deport them to Texas, Florida, and Utah. Yeah. Let's see if we can play the clip without any.
A series of crimes allegedly committed by migrants.
I just read this, lady. I hate when the video is I hate when the article is just a transcript of the video. You don't have any original writers. I know you don't have editors because you always have typos and bad grammar and bad editorialization in your articles. Somebody needs to get writing for these people, a better writer.
May spark a change in New York's sanctuary city laws. Mayor Eric Adams is calling for modifications, saying he now believes migrants who commit serious crimes should be deported. That is part of the fallout after the murder of a nursing student on the University of Georgia campus. Prosecutors say the undocumented immigrant who is accused of the crime concealed Laken Riley's death by dragging her to a secluded area. They also say he prevented Riley from making a 911 call.
Mr. Ibarra has been charged with malice murder.
Malice
felony
murder? Malice murder? Was that like first-degree murder? What's the difference between malice murder and not malice murder? I didn't have any malice when I murdered this person.
Murder, aggravated battery.
A really tragic story there. In reaction to Riley's murder, the University of Georgia has approved more than 7.
The tragic story is not the murder. The tragic story is that your government in New York let the people in that led to the murder. They want the murder. They murder babies all the time. They love murder. They're eugenicists. They want to reduce the population. They don't care about murder. They're just mad because now it's coming into the rich neighborhoods. Wow.
$1 million in security upgrades, including more police presence, security cameras, and also lighting. A series of crimes.
Okay, we get it, lady. We get it. We get it.
New York City Mayor Eric Adams is slamming the city's sanctuary laws, saying he supports working with federal immigration.
He did the sanctuary laws. That was him.
Officials.
It marks a major shift in policy. CBS News' Christina Fan joins us live from City Hall with the latest on this story. Christina.
Christina Fan. Never mind.
Mary and Chris, good morning. The mayor is calling for more cooperation between federal immigration authorities as well as local police. He argues that current policies are too detrimental to public safety. In a series of recent statements, the mayor expressed he is willing to permit local law enforcement to work more openly with ICE to deport migrants who are suspected of serious crimes. Current laws prohibit the city from...
And I know y'all think I'm crazy for this, but I've said this before. Adams occasionally says something based. It's like the broken clock idea. Every now and then he says something kind of based. I think he's still a black Democrat in New York, so he is one of the worst of the worst, but he's better than some of the other. At least he's not a woman. At least he's not Gretchen Whitmer or Aaron Mendenhall or Jane Castor or any of these other mayors in Democrat cities. They're way more commie than he is. But see, at least he sees the mistake and he's doing something to fix it, even though he's going to catch all sorts of backlash for this. You got to understand what I'm saying. I'm not saying he's a great guy. I'm not saying I would ever vote for him. I'm just saying he's a little better than some of these other crazy women. He's a little better than Lori Lightfoot. He's a little better than Gavin Newsom, a little bit.
Cooperating with ICE if a foreign national has been charged with a crime but not convicted. His comments follow several high-profile crimes in which the alleged suspects are recently arrived asylum seekers. The incidents include a recent shooting of a tourist inside a Times Square clothing store and a group assault on 2 NYPD cops.
Wow.
And
did they get let out of jail the next day? Oh, yeah, that one was the one where they got let out of jail. Yeah, they just showed it. Yeah. They beat up a cop and they got out the next day. And then they flicked off the media.
Repeatedly committing crimes in our city. Like the individual did a serious crime and then got out and went in a...
Look at this. Look at this. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. We got a strong black man with a strong black woman and a strong black, probably also a male. Look at this Adam's apple. This is called an Adam's apple right here. The strong jawline, the large hands, the big fingers, the large shoulders, wide shoulders, wider than Eric Adams. This is a man.
Assaulted and did a robbery. You don't have the right to be in our city.
That's definitely a man.
And tarnish those overwhelming number who are here following the rules.
Like there's all these sleeper cell black women who are actually black men creeping into politics. It's crazy. I see it. I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it. My eyes have been opened. My eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the trans. My eyes have seen the glory of the black woman who's a man's. My eyes have seen the glory of the trampling at the... I can't say that on YouTube. I can't. If you know the song I'm singing, if you ever seen American History X, you know what song I'm singing. Anyway.
Does the administration have any concern about where these people are going? Is there any tracking? Is this truly a success story, or are they just out of shelter?
Well, one thing we know for sure, there was not 110,000 in that store, you know, and we're not seeing what you...
I sing like Jalen? Let's go. My eyes have... No, I got to go way lower because this is how Jalen sings. He talks high-pitched like this, but when he sings, he goes... My eyes have seen the glory of the Father. It's ma'am.
You see in other cities where there are tent cities or where there are people living on the streets, children and families.
Mayor Eric Adams says the discovery of migrants living in a Queens storefront does not undermine his administration's efforts. He insists every migrant is connected with community-based organizations and is stabilized before leaving emergency.
And look, for anybody that thinks I'm some sort of xenophobic, some sort of racist, some sort of misogynist, black people love me. Immigrant Latino people love me. Women love me. Maybe you're just beta if you call people misogynist, racist, xenophobic, homophobic, transphobic. The gay people love me. You know? At work, all the gay people love me. I work hard, do what I need to do. I'm nice to everybody. I smile, I make jokes, you know? They love me. Doesn't mean I can't see what's happening. I can't see these equity groups taking over America, turning us into a bunch of Marxists. The oppressor versus the oppressed. They do it with skin color. They do it with class. They do it with, now they do it with mental illness and physical illness. Like you're a, what's it called? If you're ableist. You're ableist. Why are you so ableist? You don't want people with no legs running track in the Olympics. You're an ableist. Yeah, because we give them robot legs and then they destroy everybody. It's not fair. That's not fair. That's not equitable. That's not equality. You don't get to run track with robot legs. I don't care if that's ableist or not. But I can see it.
Shelter. The mayor says if anyone should be criticized, it's the
federal
government for its immigration.
CSAL, tell them the Latinos love me, even though I see that illegal immigration is wrong. And Floor tells me all the time that the legal immigrants don't like that. They don't like the illegal immigration. It makes the line longer for them. It makes the wait longer for them. It makes the paperwork harder for them. They make it harder for the people who are following the laws. And this is in everything. This is in everyday world. Why would you work a job 40 hours a week when you could just as easily pretend to be crazy and get on Social Security and get food stamps, get free housing, get your utilities paid for. You can get clothes from the friggin' homeless shelter. They hand out clothes. Like, why would you work and have a tough life where you got to struggle and you got to spend time? Why would you do that when you could just get it all for free? Why would you legally come into the country and wait for 5 years and do all sorts of paperwork and spend all sorts of money, when you can just come across the border and you get a free hotel, a free plane ride, a free bus ride. You get put up, you get clothes, you get everything you need. They make it easier to live like a scumbag, and they make it harder to do the right thing, which encourages people over time to all do the wrong thing until we just live in a degenerate cesspool where everybody wants a handout. What a mess. What a mess. What a mess. So, I mean, good call from Eric Adams. Too little, too late. Too little, too late, definitely. Shouldn't have done it in the first place. Then you wouldn't have to worry about this now. But you did. It's an example of the slum of society. Yeah. Hope your move is going well. I know. Floor called me while I was at work. She was pissed. She's like, hey, I have a bone to pick with you. And I'm like, all right, go quick. I'm at work right now. And she's like, how are you going to say that I'm not your perfect wife? I am the perfect wife. You said blonde bombshell. I'm glad Bibby didn't clip that part to remind Floor. You know that, Floor. Maybe I misheard the question. I thought they said, what is your ideal woman? Physically, what are you attracted to the most? And Floor knows this, that I'm attracted to blonde bombshell. But if the question was, who is the perfect wife? Then I gotta say Floor, because she's the only one I got. So she better be the perfect wife. She better tighten up. Floor. I ain't got no time for the imperfect wife. But her perfection is going to be based off of my perfection. It's my job to be perfect and shine the light onto her, right? So I can't expect her to be perfect just yet. But I do like a blonde bombshell, though. I am a bombshell, too. You're a little Latina. You're like a little morsel. You're like a little, Freddie said, you look like a treat. I didn't like that, but that is a good line. She's a little brown bombshell. Brown bombshells come in a smaller package than the tall blonde bombshells, but they're just as bombastic. They're just as bombastic, maybe even more. I think a Latina bombshell is more explosive than a blonde bombshell, if you know what I'm saying. If you know what I'm saying. I don't know why we rang the gong just now. Does she live with you? Nah, she lives in Guatemala. And she can't come here legally. She's trying to come here legally, but it takes forever, and it's a huge process. And the more illegal immigrants we get, the longer the process takes for the people who are trying to do it legally. Next. Okay. Let's do Neuralink. Neuralink. I think this was from a couple weeks ago. Yeah, this is from it's from last week. I wanted to talk about it last week, but I didn't have time. So Elon put his first Neuralink into somebody. From Fortune magazine or Fortune.com. Elon Musk claims Neuralink's first patient implanted with brain chip can already move a computer mouse with their mind. The maverick entrepreneur, known for embellishing the facts, of course, there's some editorialization for you. Got to have some op-ed in there. Provided no conclusive evidence as to the veracity of his claim. Oh, so they're trying to say this is not real. That he didn't do it. It isn't quite the cyborg superhuman with telepathic powers that Elon Musk aspires to, but everyone has to start somewhere. During a Spaces discussion, the Neuralink owner finally lifted the veil on the progress made by the first volunteer allegedly implanted last month with a microchip in their brain, saying the individual has made a full recovery and can even communicate with computer using only their mind. Just so you know, we talked about this a long time ago when they first mentioned Neuralink. We talked about BCIs, brain-computer interfaces. This is not new technology. This has been They've been working on this for 60, 70 years. The first mention of BCI was, I think, in the 60s. And they've been working on brain-computer interfaces for a long time. Basically, a deaf person who has the magnet thing that sticks on their head and goes to their earpiece, that's a BCI. They've been doing BCIs. Elon's just trying to make it more advanced. So it's getting crazy. It's getting crazy. Patient is able to move a mouse around the screen by just thinking, Musk said late on Monday on his social media platform. Roughly the size of a quarter, Neuralink's N1 brain-computer interface is designed to both record and transmit neural activity with the help of over 1,000 electrodes distributed across dozens of different filaments, each thinner than a human hair. Implanting the device is such a delicate procedure, the company has built a dedicated surgical machine dubbed the R1 just to connect the chip to an area of cerebral tissue responsible for movement. Musk said he'd like to one day use the M1 to power fully functioning cybernetic limbs for amputees manufactured with the help of Tesla's expertise. However, Musk aims to start off by first curing quadriplegics before moving on to restoring eyesight for the blind using Neuralink's first product, which he named Telepathy. He named it Telepathy. And it's also kind of like, I've said I don't trust Elon. I don't like worship Elon. He's done some cool things. Freeing up Twitter. I guess that was a good move. But a lot of the stuff, the space travel, I've talked about before. That's a modern day Tower of Babel. I forget the verse. I'm not a versification guy. But in the Bible, it says, if you try to climb too high, God will pull you back down to earth. And that's where you'll, basically, God's going to rip you back down to earth if you try to go too high. And if you try to go too deep, God's going to pull you down into hell from there. Either way, it's implying if you're trying to be like God, you're trying to go too high in the sky, you're going to burn in hell. You're going to burn. That's fire. If you try to go too low, he's going to pull you down into the depths, into Sheol, into the fire. So don't be digging tunnels and don't be trying to go to space. It is interesting. I do like learning about it. Doesn't mean I think that it's good. I don't think it's a good thing. And Elon definitely has a God complex. He's trying to cure the blind and make those who can't walk see. He's trying to, make those who can't walk. He's trying to raise people who can't walk. He's trying to raise them up and make them walk. He's trying to make the blind see. Who else did that? Who did that without technology? Who did that without microchips? Jesus. So he's definitely got a God complex. Does that necessarily mean that whatever he does with it's going to be evil? No. But it's a slippery slope. And that's not a fallacy. It's a slippery slope. Once you too much power, what's the expression? Something power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. So when you're playing God, it's gonna be like what's that freaking guy that flew with the wings made of wax? He's flying too close to the sun. Icarus. He's pulling an Icarus. Not good. Not good. Be careful, Elon. Be careful with all that stuff. Let's see. Let's look at the Neuralink website. Look, even the website is weird. So look, let's get your cursor set up. So blue targets are click targets, but you don't click. Over these, imagine pressing down with your index finger. Oh, I imagined it, and it worked. I didn't click anything, and it worked. Breakthrough technology for the brain. Neuralink. Create a generalized brain interface to restore autonomy. I think it takes away autonomy. Because who controls the chip that's in your brain? The chip manufacturer. It does not give you more autonomy. It gives you less autonomy. Same thing that happened with automobiles. They thought cars were going to give people more autonomy. Now you have a car, you can freely travel wherever you want. You can go farther. You can go farther by yourself. So they thought, cars, more autonomy. I have more freedom now. I have more imaginary freedom now. I can travel really far with my car. But then you realize you got to pay car insurance if you want to keep your car, or you're going to go to jail. Then you realize you got to put gas in your car, and you don't control the gas prices. The government controls the gas prices. Then you realize you got to sit at a red stoplight for 20 minutes in the middle of nowhere in the country when there's no cars around. You don't got to. You're free to go through the red light, and then you're free to go to jail if there's a cop waiting around the corner that you don't see who's hiding from you, and he's going to get you. That's your freedom. It's not more autonomy. It's less autonomy. Then they do the 15-minute cities. They shut down travel. You've become dependent on your vehicle because you live in the country, but you work in the city. You need your vehicle to go to work. How are you going to possibly work and provide for your family if you don't have a vehicle? You can't live without a vehicle. It didn't add autonomy. It took autonomy away from you. Same thing with Neuralink. Same thing. You think it's giving you more autonomy. It's not. It's giving some Tesla control over your brain. They're trying to keep up with China's data mining technologies. They figured the best way to data mine is just put chips in everybody's brains. Now we have all the data. And you think you have autonomy. You don't have no autonomy. You think you have rights. You think you have freedom. You don't. You don't. So this is the Neuralink website. Fancy website. Here's the implant. Who's getting chipped up? Who's getting chipped up? Anybody in the chat getting chipped up? I know Daddy Jub said he would get chipped up. Told me he was crazy. He said, I can't wait to get chipped up. He wants to be like the $1 Million Man or whatever. Can't see without his glasses. Well, if you get the Neuralink, you'll be able to see without your glasses. And you'll think you have more autonomy. You think you're more free, except at any time, they could just push the off button on your dang Neuralink and your brain shuts down. You have no autonomy once you get this chip in your brain.
The brash billionaire behind X and Tesla says the company he co-founded, Neuralink, has surgically implanted its first wireless brain chip, about the size of a coin, into a human. The company is hoping to revolutionize BCIs, or brain-computer interfaces. The goal is to get BCIs to read brain activity with such sophistication that people with severe paralysis could potentially control a wheelchair or a robotic arm, for example, simply by thinking about it. And there is a lot of information to decode. The brain.
And this isn't even, I don't even have, I might pull it up actually real quick. The robots. Elon's got robots now too. He's got dang robots. He's got brain-computer interfaces. He's got spaceships. He's got too much money to play with. Could you imagine having that much money to play with? I would build rockets too, just to show flat earthers that the world is round.
Has about 86 billion neurons.
He's playing God.
Many scientists are excited about the technology and Musk's project, but there's also frustration. Aside from Musk saying that the patient is, quote, recovering well, and that the initial results show promising.
They don't offer free pizza. You can order pizza without picking up your phone. You can call and order pizza, but you still got to pay for it, baby. It's going to be an expensive pizza. You're going to have to pay an extra fee for your Uber to drive it to you. You're going to have to pay an extra fee to the pizza place for delivering. You're going to have to pay an extra fee for using the Neuralink connection to the pizza place because people can't get up off their couch and walk 3 blocks away to get a pizza. Oh my gosh, Uber drives me crazy. When I go to the gas station and I see people who are ordering 2 sodas and a candy bar off Uber, and there's one guy working at the gas station, he's got to go around. I feel sorry for the gas station people. I worked in fast food when this meal rideshare stuff first started. We hated the Uber orders. We hated the Uber orders because it's like the Uber drivers come in and they feel entitled. They like walk up to the front of the line. I'm here to pick up my order. It's like, okay, well, we have customers. We're dealing with them. We'll get to you. Your order, your online order, we're making it up. It'll be over there when it's ready. But we're going to focus on the customers who came here first, not the lazy asses who can't get off their couch and walk to McDonald's 3 blocks away. Same thing with the gas station. You live 2 blocks away and you just ordered Uber from 7-Eleven for a candy bar and a soda. Get off your ass. This is why America is like the fattest country ever. Where's the robots?
All right, well, also another update here. The patient who...
Enough Neuralink. Where's the robots? Where's Elon? Tesla's new robots. Hold on. It finally happened. All you need to know about Tesla's bot Gen, Optimus Gen 2 from Tesla. This is from Tesla website. Bumblebee, September 2002. Optimus Gen 1, March 2023. Here's the Optimus Gen 2. Look at this thing. Look at it. It's crazy looking. It looks like a person. Am I black or white? You're both. You're black and white. Look at this thing. Now, imagine when they have chips in people's brains that are taking in all the data in your brain. They've already got a digital profile made of you. Now they have access to your brain. Then they make a copy of that chip. They put it in the robot. Now you've got a robotic version of you. Crazy. This is Black Mirror. This is Black Mirror. It walks like a Grand Theft Auto character. 30% walk speed boost. Like it walks 30% faster than humans. Wait till these things are in the Olympics for equality. Wait till there was a book or a story I read about this. What was this? What was the story about? It's in the future. Was it iRobot? It's not iRobot, but there's one where the whole, and look at the Cybertrucks behind him. There's a book or a movie that's about, basically they do a civil rights movement for robots because people are discriminating against the robots. They treat the robots like less than humans. They basically make the robots their slaves. You know, the robots aren't in the Constitution because the Constitution was written for humans. And these people are considered property. These robots are considered property. So they're less than human. So we're going to have to ratify the Constitution to make an allowance for this for the robots. We're going to have to change the Constitution for equity and diversity and inclusion to include the robots. Civil rights for robots. Robotic civil rights movement. It's coming. Yeah, I saw a green Cybertruck when I was out in LA on the road. And I was like, whoa, that's crazy to see one of those on the road. And it was like custom paint job. It was green. Thing was sick. Maybe not. It's kind of weird. I don't know. Be interesting to drive one. Look at the hands. Wow. Wow, it's gonna crack an egg. Bro. Aw, it can't crack the egg yet. It could just set the egg down. I wanted to see it crack the egg. Hey, look at them hips swaying though. Is that a girl robot or a boy robot? Oh, we are getting into a crazy world, ladies and gentlemen. The world is a crazy place. I'm just reporting on it. I want one so I can call him Sparky. Sparky! Come here, Sparky. They are slow. They said it walks 30% faster than a human. Did you see them hips swaying, though, when it was walking? You know? Can I get one that looks like a blonde bombshell? Can I get a blonde bombshell robot? Flora, cover your ears. Josh is going to say this robot is his version of the perfect wife now. Only if it's blonde. Only if it's blonde and they add some silicone in a couple of places. It's got to be more. It's got to have some bounce to it. Calm down for that robot, you weirdo. Okay. All right. That's it for the news. Hold up. We're going to move right on. We're going to keep it moving right along. What the heck is that? I cut my finger. Okay, memes. Memes. It's time. Not quite yet. It's not quite yet. Not quite time yet. It's time for the memes. This is my next Lego set. This is the next Lego set that I'm going to get and build on the stream. It's the best movie scene. It's the best movie scene. Is this not the coolest Lego set you've ever seen? I gotta get this thing. Get out of that rhino, Ace. We have a lot of memes. I gotta burn through these. Next. A televangelist from Arkansas claims Satan is engineering Taylor Swift's marriage to Travis Kelce so she can give birth to the Antichrist and launch the apocalyptic 1,000-year war against Christ. Is there anything Taylor Swift can't do? Next. Every white girl in America. Give us your energy. Give us your energy. Every white girl in America making the spirit bomb. Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift. Boom! Spirit bomb your ass. Next. Yes, I cleaned my room. That one chair. This is so true. This is so true. I cleaned my room. All my dirty clothes are on my hanger. I have a coat hanger that looks like this chair. Next. This kid got a steak cake for his birthday. The bottom layer is prime rib, followed by ribeye and top of filet mignon. Look at this steak cake. Bro. Bro. I want one of these. I want one of these.
It's a man, baby.
That's a man cake. Floor. I want one of these for my birthday one year. Look at the mashed potato icing. Pour some A1 sauce. Just drench that thing in A1. Oh my gosh. That steak cake looks delicious. I like that. Next. Hey, remember when we had 4 years without war? Yeah, that was awesome. Now it's China. Next. Kakarot. This is Kakarot. This is Kakarot. This is Kakarot and this is Kakarot. Next. Mini biscuits in a bowl of gravy? Yes, please. Bro. I don't know why we're doing food memes because I'm getting hungry, but that looks awesome. That is such a good idea. Biscuits and gravy cereal? Bro.
It's a man, baby.
That's what a man eats. Taylor es Swift. Taylor es Swift. That's how Floor says it. Floor's going to dye her hair blonde now? Yeah. I don't think she would look good with blonde hair. It would be interesting to see, though. The steak is the perfect version of a wife. Steak cake. Hey, you got that steak cake. If you make me a steak cake or some biscuits and gravy bowl, you're the perfect wife. Next. Found at a snake exhibit. Please no parcel tongue. Harry Potter joke. Harry Potter meme. If you don't get it, don't worry about it. Don't speak to the snakes. Opens electric bill. Me, please don't be high. The electric bill. Electric bill higher than a mug. What the heck? That electric bill higher than a mug. Oh, man. What the? It's a high electric bill. Next. Proof that a basketball is flat. Proof that a basketball is flat. If you take a micron camera and you point it at the surface of a basketball, look at that. The basketball is flat. Proof that basketballs are flat. There you go. There you go. Ugh. Next. Wife, where are all the coffee filters? Me. I made a neck garment. I made a neck garment out of all the coffee filters. You got a problem with that? Nobody. Okay, next. You need to watch Avatar. I did. That's the wrong Avatar, kitty cat. That's the wrong Avatar, kitty cat. What the heck? Next. That pizza must have been huge. That's a big old pizza. That's a giant. That must have come from a giant pizza. Next. Microwave heat. Plate. My burrito. My burrito got left out. Somehow the plate is burning my finger. The microwave's hot. My burrito is hot on the two ends, but the middle is still frozen. I thought the microwave heated from the inside out. How come the middle of my burrito is still frozen? Very true. Very, very, very true. In my younger days, I wasn't into blonde, but now, as an older man, I am. Yes, sir. Next. When we make first contact with aliens. Y'all got any space memes? Y'all got any space memes up there, aliens? Let me get that space meme, buddy. Next. The Korean taco place we got takeout from gave us a roll of toilet paper with our meal. That's either a very considerate business or an ominous warning of bad things to come. Hold on. We got one more. Next. If you can't find the book you're looking for, then you're obviously in the Wong Fucking bookstore. Can't find the book you're looking for, then you're obviously in the Wong Fucking bookstore. I like that. I like that. What's up, Star One? Next. Whenever I hear, I already said this one. I already did this one. Whenever I hear about a mass shooting, the first thing I say is Betty White. Unless it's in the hood, or unless they don't tell us the race of the person in the news, then I bet he black. My daughter ain't marrying no black lab. My daughter ain't marrying no black lab. That's white dog mentality. That's white dog mentality right there. These are from last week. Did you not see the 100+ memes I posted yesterday? No, most of these I've never done. Most of these are ones I've been saving in my phone for a while now. I did not see the one. You posted 100 memes yesterday? Dang. Well, I got material for next week. We was-ery bingo. We was Vikings. We was Egyptians. We was gods. We was Abraham Lincoln. We was Inuit. We was Jesus. We was green and photosynthesizing. We was Europeans. We was Mayans and Incans. We was Leonardo da Vinci. We was Greeks. We was Genghis Khan. We was Napoleon. We was Beethoven. We's invented music. We was Prophet Muhammad. We was Native Americans. We was Jews. We was giants and mythical creatures. Kemet. We was samurai. We was Irish. We was melanin powers. We was Romans. The we was-ery bingo card. It's funny, Kemet is the only one that isn't we was. Kemet. This is Freddie right here. Freddie was here. Now we was Kemet. Next. Black Betty, bam a lamb, whoa. This one's funny. 36, 24, 36. Only if she's 5'3". My anaconda don't want none unless you got buns, huh? Next. What flat earthers see on a clear day? They see the Statue of Liberty, the pyramids, the Eiffel Tower, Mount Everest is hiding somewhere in the back over here. See all the skylines. We see Mordor, Sauron's tower. Pretty much. Next. Who took my X-Acto knife? It was me. Who took my X-Acto knife? It was me. Cut into the cardboard. That's funny. If this is a pair of pliers, then what the hell is this? If this is a pair of pliers, then what the hell is this? This is a pair of pliers. A pair of pliers. That's what it is. Next. It's 2 a.m. and I finally finished the shawl that I've been working on to wear to Easter breakfast, which is at 10 a.m. It's 2 a.m. and I finally finished the shawl that I've been working on to wear to Easter breakfast, which is at 10 a.m. That's cool. I just thought it was a table wearing underwear. Yeah. Next. Oh, DNA. Here's your DNA. This is how we got DNA. Sorry, here's your double helix. Here's your fake double helix. We was DNAs. We was DNAs. That's Adam and Eve. That's what DNA came from. Once you listen to the serpent, we turned into snakes with DNA. Next. Mel Gibson. Braveheart. Every man dies, not every man really lives. Mel Gibson, Braveheart. Enough of that. Next. 4,000 years ago, pyramids. Today, we got a big dome with a smiley face. But the cool part is that this is way, way, way more technically advanced, way more impossible than this pile of rocks. Just so you know, this is just a pile of rocks in a triangle. The easiest way to build a tall structure is to start with a wide base and build up towards the top. Get some dinosaurs, get 1 million slaves, stack up some rocks, and you got yourself a dirt pyramid. Not that complicated. This is made of steel and glass, curved LCD screens on the back of a giant building that they can project images onto, corrugated steel, molded glass, digital components, air conditioning, climate controlled. This may look goofy, but this is way more technically advanced and impressive than this pile of rocks. Just saying. Oh, that's my that's my dang power bill. That's not supposed to be in there. Y'all just got the dang confirmation number for my power bill. I hope there's not anything. Hold on 1 second. I hope there's not anything important on there. One-time payment, reference number. You got the last 4 digits of my card. If you go back and I don't think you can do anything with that. Don't go back into freeze frame on my power bill or my rent bill. Anyway, now I need to double check to make sure that there's nothing else in here. What the heck? Where we at? Okay, we're good. We're good. Just have my rent in there. Okay. BLM, belt loops matter. Pull your effing pants up. You already showed us your address last year? Yeah. Next. First method of estimating the intelligence of a ruler is to look at the men he has around him. Sun Tzu from The Art of War. I have this book. Haven't read it yet, but I do have it. I've read some of it. You have to understand a ruler. First method of estimating the intelligence of a ruler is to look at the men he has around him. To be fair, Trump, who's supposed to be the best business builder, the apprentice, you're fired, he had some bad people around him. So he needs to work on that if he wins in this next election. Otherwise, you don't want to be compared to Joe Biden. You don't want to be compared to this.
Beta!
Yep. Next. Okay, sorry. This is PG-13, guys. If a woman is uncomfortable watching you bait, she A, has its intimacy issues, B, she's frigid, or C, she needs to sit somewhere else on the bus. I think option C. Option C. She needs to sit somewhere else on the bus. Next. The most creative restroom in America. Kudos. I think I did this one like years ago. I think I did this one a long time ago, but I saw it again, so I added it. I'm the king of the jungle. I'm John Wick's dog. Whoosh. Knock that lion out. Get that lion. You don't mess with John Wick's dog. That lion's about to lay down. Next. Biden makes trip to the border. The border is secure. You know what I'm saying. You know the thing. The border is secure.
Beta!
Next. The reason these toys are critical as kids. The triangle goes with the triangle. The triangle goes with the triangle. These kids, these ladies obviously never played with these toys as kids. You see. Next. Former model, Melania. Beautiful woman. Former model, Russian, gorgeous. And then frequently mistaken for Bigfoot. Let's compare the two first ladies. Former model, frequently mistaken, or former model, when I see Melania, yep, we get a little bit of going on. And then when I see Michelle, next. He got to be over 6'5", have money, a house, 2 cars, and like my 8 kids. Her. She looks like dang Motaro. Is that Goro or Motaro? Motaro is the half horse. Goro's the one with, that's Goro. She looking like Goro. I've seen girls that look like this. Yeah, they demand that you are tall, wealthy, have a house, financially stable. You got to take care of their 8 kids, and they look like this. Big Mike. That's Goro, yep. Next. Trust the government or fight a bear? Me! I'm fighting the bear. Let's go, bear. That bear is a
beta.
I'm going to fight the bear.
It's a man, baby.
Next. Airport security. I think I did this one too before. Airport security. Tight. It's tight. Border security. Gay rainbow flags. Welcome. Here's some money. Have some money. Walk right through.
Beta.
Next. I hate chasing these bitches. I just wait till they trip. Bitches always be tripping. That's a good one, Jason. That's a good one, Jason. Next. Map showing where Palestine exists. It exists right between Whoville, Westeros, Neverland, Narnia, Oz, Middle Earth, Fantasia, The Labyrinth, Dreamlands, Earthsea, Lidsville, Living Island, Sodor, Dinotopia, Terabithia, It says Whoville. Sala Salou, the land of the lost. In case you don't get it, these are all fictional places that don't exist. And that's it for the memes. Okay. All right. We don't have a lot of rapid fire news. We don't have a lot of reels. We'll burn through this, and then we'll do some Bible thumping. We got a whole chapter to read, 58 verses. Have I ever done David and Goliath? I don't think I've ever done the David and Goliath story. It's an oldie, but it's a goodie. It's a classic. But first, let's watch some memes, or let's watch some funny reels. Let's do some rapid fire. We got a lot of comedians in the reels this week. Let's get it. I want to make sure. Okay. Oh, God. One more time. Oh my God, that's horrible. Bro, you made it so far and you smacked your face on the corner of a marble bit, bro. He's done for. He's cut. That boy cut. Scootering. Get off the dang scooter. All right. Music makes all the difference. Let me show you guys how music makes all the difference. Boom, boom, boom. This is 8 Mile. Hold on. Where's the audio? Music makes all the difference.
I have a structured settlement and
I need cash now.
Call J.G. Wentworth.
877 cash now. One more time.
I have a structured settlement and I need cash now. Call J.G. Wentworth. 877 cash now.
Music makes all the difference. His dentist just saw dollar signs. Yeah, I think he hit his forehead, though, right on the corner. He's probably got a huge gash in his head. He's going to need to see a lobotomist. Okay. What else we got? Okay, look at this. Bro, these are baby... I almost said these are baby testicles. These are baby hedgehogs, and they look like little prickly testicles. Testicles. That's what they look like. Look at this. Look at this hedgehog baby. You ever seen a hedgehog baby? Look at this little prickly. Look at this thing. That looks like... I don't care who you are. That looks like a testicle. What the heck? Look how cute they are, though. Look at that little testicle.
Let's see you do a scene as Denzel.
All right, here's this guy doing Denzel Washington. This is a great impression. I don't know who this guy is, but this is a great impression of Denzel.
Denzel Washington just found out he got an STD from a one-night stand, and he's looking at the results.
Hey, Doc, these are the results, huh?
Those are the results.
Yeah, you want me to read from top to bottom? Okay. Cholesterol, good. Testosterone, good. Syphilis, not so good. Whoa. That's what you're telling me? I got syphilis, huh? Not so good, huh? Is this on a grading scale, a sliding scale? What is this? Either I have it or I don't have it. Are you telling me that I indeed have syphilis?
You have syphilis.
Is that what this cough is about?
That's something else. Keep reading.
Chlamydia, also not so good. Oh. So I got a double whammy. I got a twofer. A 2 for 1, huh? Is that what these blisters are about?
No, I don't like it that.
Okay, we got another comedian. That's a great Denzel. Lamorne Morris, is that his name? Fred, you were right. Josh didn't even see the memes I posted yesterday. I didn't. I've been busy. I've been busy. I'll get him for next week. That's what's his name from New Girl. Funny dude. Yeah, that was a great impression. This guy's from Kill Tony. He's got some sort of disability. But this bit, I watched the full thing, and then I found this clip. This is a funny, just a funny bit from his stand-up set. He's so funny.
I don't like it that they call Big Bird Big Bird. You don't think he's aware he's an abnormally sized bird. You don't think he's seen other birds and been like what the fuck? I'm a monster. Oh my god! I was at a coffee shop today. I went to the bathroom. They had a sign that said, "Don't flush anything except toilet paper." I was like, oh man, what am I gonna do with all this shit? Oh my god, oh, damn. Oh, fuck.
And now it is my great honor to introduce.
I don't like it that they call Big Bird Big Bird. You don't think he's aware he's an abnormally sized bird. You don't think he's seen other birds and been like what the fuck? I'm a monster. Oh my god! I was at a coffee shop today. I went to the bathroom. They had a sign that said, "Don't flush anything except toilet paper." I was like, oh man, what am I gonna do with all this shit? Oh my god, oh, damn.
Put it in your pocket and save it for later.
Let's see you do a scene as Denzel Washington.
Lamorne Morris. He's funny. That was a great Denzel impression.
I don't like it that they
Okay. All right, that's it for all the funny reels. Oh, shut up, Freddie. Shut up, Freddie. Nobody missed you. What were you, in jail? You've been MIA for like a month. Would you go to jail for something? All right. Let's do some rapid fire. We'll just burn through this stuff. We got more weird tech. Lots of weird tech stuff. California blizzard. Fossil reveals 240 million year old dragon. Now, I don't believe the Earth is really 240 million years old. Not a young Earth creationist, but I'm definitely not a evolutionary scientist. 100 million year old Earth or 300, 400 million year old Earth. However, they keep saying it's older and older and older because they can't find the answers they're looking for unless they make the Earth older and older and older. They can't explain things. So they just guess the age of the Earth. But what I do agree with is that they found a fossil of a dragon. And who said dragons are real? I said dragons were real. And there's proof. Dinosaur, dragon, fossil. Dates back 240 million years. Has been dubbed a dragon because of its extremely long neck. It looks like it has wings, long neck, tail, possibly breathe fire. It's called Dinocephalosaurus orientalis, a species that was originally identified back in 2003. Full anatomy of a bizarre prehistoric beast. It's a dragon fossil. They got dragons. I told you they had dragons. What else we got? NVIDIA billionaire co-founder. So here's a politics and tech from Fortune. NVIDIA billionaire co-founder created a $70 million supercomputer at University of Florida. Then Ron DeSantis banned the top AI experts from China. Ideal for supercomputer at his alma mater, University of Florida. Basically, this guy spent all this money on this supercomputer using Chinese AI. And DeSantis banned the AI. So now his computer is just, he wasted all that money. Billionaire founder of a chip giant, NVIDIA, bankrolled one of the world's biggest supercomputers at the University of Florida. Ron DeSantis predicted the machine would be a magnet for artificial intelligence talent. Uh, Hypergator AI, built with NVIDIA's lightning-fast AI processor and housed near a futuristic new computer science building bearing Malachowski's name, was designed to make UF a leader in using cutting-edge computing and academic research. Malachowski, a UF alumnus, and NVIDIA each pumped $25 million into the project. Florida's flagship university put up another $20 million. Want to use it for everything, developing better strains of fighting cancer, fighting drugs. Yet such work is being stymied, professors say, by a DeSantis-backed law that effectively blocks universities from recruiting from 7 countries of concern, including 2 that produce the top AI research, China and Iran. Good job, DeSantis. If they can't do it with Americans, then maybe you shouldn't be doing it. Maybe you're too dumb. Stop trying to. Do you think Chinese inventors are better than American inventors? No. They steal all our intellectual property. It's a stupid law for many reasons. The reality is that we need to be attracting talent, not sending them away. No, we don't need more. No. Why don't you attract American talent? So that's that. It's a long story. I'm not going to read it all, but essentially, DeSantis just screwed NVIDIA out of $70 million, and they're pissed. What else? I got stock. The only stocks I got left is Virgin Galactic. Virgin Galactic is working no delay to the next suborbital flight. So we got Elon Musk, we got Bezos, we got Elon Musk with what is his called? Star or something. He's doing his suborbital space flights. They're working on commercial space flight. Basically, that's the next big thing. That's why I have stocks in Virgin Galactic. It's low right now. Might go up someday. Once they start doing these commercial suborbital flights, low Earth orbit, parabolic flights, you can feel weightlessness. You can go up. You can see the curve. You can fly from London to China in like 2 hours because they get high enough so that the inertial reference frame of the Earth starts spinning below them. And then when they're going the opposite direction, the speed is amplified. You can get farther faster. But yeah, Virgin Galactic putting up them suborbital flights. Keep it going. This is Richard Branson's company. He's doing it. Elon's doing it. Bezos is doing it. All these guys are trying to figure out how to get people into space and flying around the world faster. So get you some Virgin Galactic stock. Let's boost it up. I'm not a financial advisor. This is an update on the story I did a week or 2 ago about the study that said that urban farms produce more carbon and have a bigger carbon footprint than regular farms. And I said this was essentially a way to discourage people in cities from growing gardens, sharecropping, or co-ops, setting up food co-ops where community gardens where people can come and grow edible food. It can help you feed the homeless. If we had more fruit and vegetable producing things just growing in the cities, then food shortage could be easily dealt with. But to shut that down because they're eugenicists and they want people to die and eat the bugs, they said you can't do that in the city because city gardens make more carbon than regular gardens, than suburban and rural gardens. Anyway, they put this study out, and now there's been backlash. Gardeners are fuming about a study that found produce from urban farms has high carbon footprint. University of Michigan study found that urban farmed produce has 6 times the carbon footprint of conventional farms. The study faced backlash from advocates and students, saying it overlooked broader environmental harms of industrial farming. Some gardeners are reevaluating their practices, focusing on sustainability and local biodiversity. So, good to see the liberals are having backlash against the other liberals. You're the climate change people. The climate change people, they support the climate change message. But as soon as the climate change message says something that is obviously a eugenicist, carbon taxing, green lie, once the liberals figure that out, they eat their own. They eat their own. The right eats their own too, but it's pretty interesting to see that they're having backlash over that story we did last week. What about deer, moose, elk, goats, bears, lions, etc.? What about their carbon footprints? Why only cattle? It's interesting. Yeah, because it's a lie, or it's like you know the answer to that. I know you're just is it facetious? Facetious? Yeah. He's asking rhetorically. He knows the answer. It's not about the cows. It's not about the gardens in cities creating carbon footprints. It's about taxing life, taxing the life of people, eugenics, reducing the population, controlling people more, less autonomy, more taxes, more government control over everything, over your life, over the air you breathe. Yep. They want to control your food. They want to control your medical. They want to control your education. They want to control your housing. They want to control everything, all of it. And that's what it is. More on that, more climate stuff. Fabricated ecosystems could lead to better bioenergy crops. Fabricated ecosystems could lead to better bioenergy crops. This is playing God. This is playing God. This is pre-flood Earth had a firmament, and Earth was a giant terrarium, and everything grew. We had paradise on Earth. We didn't have disease. We lived 900 years, and people still turned into degenerates, and God still had to wipe it out. He took the firmament down to stop protecting us from the sun. Now we have shorter lifespans. We have more natural disasters. We have more diseases. We have more floods because God took the shield off. Now science is trying to put the shield back on, make a firmament, make their own terraria, their own Tartaria, turn the world into a biodome for eco-friendly bioenergy crops. Greater understanding of how plants and microbes work together to store vast amounts of atmospheric carbon in the soil will help the design to better bioenergy will help in the design of better bioenergy crops for the fight against climate change. Bioenergy clocks from fabricated ecosystems. Wow. Wow. Now, how much carbon are you going to produce while you're creating these fabricated ecosystems to bioengineer crops, whatever they're doing? How much carbon is that going to take? They don't care. They don't tell you those numbers. Deciphering the mechanics of this mutually beneficial relationship is challenging, however, as conditions in nature are extremely difficult for scientists to replicate in the laboratory. To address this challenge, researchers at Lawrence Berkeley National Laboratory created fabricated ecosystems, or ecofabs. So this just kind of lends to they don't want you having a garden in the city, but we're going to make fabricated ecosystems for bioenergy crops. Sounds like a bunch of crazy science mess to me. Imagine a company making fruit free again by growing and picking it with robots, all ran off of solar power. Yeah, that sounds logical. That sounds like it makes a lot of sense, Freddie. Because there's not enough people to do the work, right? To grow stuff. We have to have robots do it for us. Anyway. Weather. Crazy weather. California is in a blizzard. Is it snowing where you are, Freddie? Powerful California blizzard shuts down roads and ski resorts as heavy snow and fierce winds slam mountains. Let's see if we can get any video of this. Blizzard action in California.
And now here's
That's a commercial. Most extreme conditions are unfolding at the highest elevations in the mountains, with whiteout conditions and hurricane-force winds. Winter storm alerts remain across most of the western states, with blizzard warnings still in effect for the northern and central Sierra Nevada until Monday morning. We're up to 1 foot of snowfall, and gusts of 45 to 75 miles per hour are possible. Gusts across the Sierra Nevada peaks could still reach up to 90 miles per hour.
Tampax combo.
This morning, a powerful California blizzard has forced officials to shut down some roads
you guys
across
watch this
the Sierra Nevada. Many resorts are also closed, and more than 6 million people in the region remain under a winter weather alert as wind gusts get this topped 100 miles per hour in some areas. Take a listen.
Thousands of homes and businesses are without power this morning. CNN meteorologist Allison Chinchari is tracking that storm from our weather center. Allison, I know a lot of people are ready for this storm to be over. What are we expecting today?
Even more snow, which is the last thing that some of these areas need when you take a look at some of these snowfall totals already. And keep in mind, the National Weather Service hasn't really updated these in the last few hours, so these are likely even higher than what you're seeing now. Kingvale topping out at 42 so far. That's going to be the key word, but several other areas topping out at least 3 feet, and more snow, as we said, is expected. That's why you've still got a lot of these winter weather alerts. We've got the winter storm warnings, winter weather advisories, but also even a few blizzard warnings you can see there around that orange color. Now, the blizzard warning is indicating not just the snow, but also the poor visibility that's expected.
You think that building robots to harvest fruit from trees in bioengineered ecosystems is more cost efficient than people just growing them themselves and going out and picking them? Man, you're like super high. You're like very intelligent, Freddie. That sounds like, how much carbon emissions are we going to put out to produce these robots?
Expected. Some of these areas you can see right now still getting the rain closer to the coastal regions, but very heavy snow at times along the Sierra. The thing is, some of that snow is coming down at 3, 4, even as much as 5 inches an hour for multiple hours. Now, it's going to go in waves. You're going to get hours where it's a little bit lighter, hours where it picks back.
Okay, we understand how weather works, weather lady. Thank you. There's a blizzard in California. The world is ending. Get ready. There's a blizzard in hell. Y'all ever seen a blizzard in hell? Last but not least, I got some local news. Boring local news, but I just wanted to show you guys. You know how I always say that Democrat women, mayors, don't do anything to help whatever cities they run. All they do is art installments. All they do is art installments and green energy stuff. The cost of housing goes up, the homeless population goes up, drug use goes up, crime goes up, but you get a nice art installment and you get green energy initiatives. Well, here's Salt Lake City. Remember I told you about the whale? They put a whale a couple blocks from here, this giant whale. They built a roundabout at a 4-way intersection. Everybody's like, why are you putting a roundabout here? And they put a giant whale art installment in the middle. And they're doing the same thing again at a slow intersection in the middle of nowhere. They're putting a roundabout, and they're saying they're going to put an art installment on the roundabout because they say that it makes it safer. It slows people down when they have to go around a roundabout. And if there's an art piece to look at, they're going to go even slower because they're going to admire the art. Unfortunately, it's all liberal, ugly art. It's not attractive. It's ugly. We showed you the Black Lives Matter, the hands that look like a dang thingy going into a thingy. It was gross. The statue of the big head in New York, the big that black head in New York. This is what Democrat women mayors do. They're not going to help the homeless population, the homeless problem. They're not going to help any of that. They're going to put money towards art installments and roundabouts where nobody wants them. And the people in Salt Lake City are starting to take notice. If they watched the show, they would have known I've been talking about this for years. But the artwork would be similar to the whale at 9th and 9th. What we wanted to do with this product is improve people's life in the neighborhood a little bit. Public art has been proven to make people slow down, take a look at it, and drive more carefully. So we thought it would be the best place for public art. However, not all local residents are on board with the project. Here's from a quote from a resident. It seems like they are coming down the west side wasting money instead of doing things we really need. Huh. Shocker. I bet you Kathleen Jones is a Democrat. I bet you Kathleen Jones voted for Erin Mendenhall because she's equity and diversity and inclusion. She's a pretty woman. She's pretty. She's attractive. She's so nice. Kathleen Jones probably voted for Erin Mendenhall. Now Kathleen Jones is starting to see that, oh, they shut down all the shelters and all the homeless people are moving into the residential areas now because they've been dispersed as they gentrify the Gateway area with the Gateway project. They make that homeless area nice. They They push the homeless people out into the residential areas in the neighborhoods, middle class, upper middle class, lower middle class. The homeless people disperse into those areas, and they want to build a roundabout with an art installment. Several people in the area are upset with the roundabout concept on their street. I hate the roundabout. It doesn't slow traffic down. It's a huge thing put in a small little street that we don't need. A four-way stop would have been a lot better. It's a lot of wasted money. And now they want to put up a beautiful, some kind of art piece, which to me is another waste of money. Well, these liberals in Salt Lake City who vote for these idiots should watch my show. And you would have known this already. This is all you get when you vote for a Democrat woman to run your city. You get art installments and green energy initiatives. That's what you get. And that's it for the rapid fire news, ladies and gentlemen. Call JG Wetworth 877 cash now. At least I can read the headlines, Freddie. At least I can read the headlines. Okay. All right, we got a little less than an hour left. Let me open some things up for some resources. Open a new window. We don't got a whole lot of stuff to read except for some Bible thumping. We're going to be doing the story of David and Goliath from 1 Samuel chapter 17, and it's pretty much the whole chapter. I don't know if I've ever done this on the show before, but if I did, ain't no harm in doing it again. I don't have 1 Samuel 17 highlighted, which means I probably haven't covered it on the show. Usually when I'm doing something on the show, I'll highlight it so I know I've done it before in this Bible. But we're going to be looking at the story of David and Goliath. Hold on, do I have cool music? Do I have any cool music? David and Goliath. A true underdog story. David was a small boy. He had no armor. Goliath was a huge, trained warrior, a giant, possibly a Nephilim, possibly a mix between giant and human. An evil man, a warrior, fighting for the wrong side. David, a small shepherd, untrained. But he had one thing that Goliath never had. David had God at his back. And David felled the enemy. He felled the foe. All right. That's the story we're going to be talking about. David and Goliath. So this is from 1 Samuel. Samuel was written by Samuel for the most part, as well as Gad and Nathan. These are the three prophets who appeared in 1 Chronicles during the account of David's reign. And according to Jewish tradition, it's understood that Samuel was written for the most part by Samuel and also some minor prophets, Gad and Nathan. And this is the story. When did it take place? 1 Samuel. The problem is when you try to look for info on David and Goliath, it keeps giving me the search results for this movie, which I've never seen the movie, but there was a movie about it. Let's just go straight to the bibliothèque and we'll just read it out of here. We're going to do pretty much all of chapter 17. I think it's 58 verses. Yep, 58 verses. So a couple pages here. It's going to take a little while. So I'm just going to read. Now, the Philistines gathered together their armies to battle and were gathered together at Shochoh, which belongeth to Judah, and pitched between Shochoh and Azekah in the Ephes-Dammim. And Saul and the men of Israel were gathered together and pitched by the valley of Elah, and set the battle in array against the Philistines. So this is Saul and the Israelites versus the Philistines. Saul is the king at the time. And the Philistines stood on a mountain on the one side, and Israel stood on the mountain on the other side. and there was a valley between them. And there went out the champion out of the camp of the Philistines named Goliath of Gath, whose height was 6 cubits and a span. A cubit is like 3 feet. So he's like 18 feet tall. He's a big dude. He's a giant, okay? And he's the champion of the Philistines. Have you ever seen the movie Troy, where Brad Pitt is Achilles? And at the beginning, they got this Greek mythology came from biblical mythology or biblical truth, historicity, and where Brad Pitt, Achilles, goes out, he says, send your champion. And they send Boagrius. And he says, Boagrius! Boagrius! And Boagrius walks out. Brad Pitt's all little. Not the same situation because Achilles was a great warrior as well. Achilles was a much better warrior than Boagrius, but Achilles was small and Boagrius was huge. Boagrius had the armor and the weaponry. All Achilles had was a little sword. And he just runs up, dodges a spear, shields a spear away, jumps up with a knife, sticks it in his neck, fights over. Achilles wins. Similar to the David and Goliath story, but not quite the same. Goliath is the champion of the Philistines. He's 18 feet tall. He's 18 feet tall, okay? He was like the mountain in Game of Thrones. And he had a helmet of brass upon his head, and he was armed with a coat of mail. And the weight of the coat was 5,000 shekels of brass. So he's got a big old mail coat on. He's fully armored. And he had greaves of brass upon his legs and a target of brass between his shoulders. And the staff of his spear was like a weaver's beam. And his spear's head weighed 600 shekels of iron. And one bearing a shield went before him. He had to have a shield bearer. His shield was so huge that one man struggled to carry his shield for him. His shield was so big. His armor weighed so much. He has greaves on. He's fully armored. He's a warrior and he's huge, right? What they're describing here is how the odds are very much stacked against David. And he stood and cried unto the armies of Israel and said unto them, why are ye come out to set your battle in array? Am I not a Philistine, and ye servants of Saul? Choose ye a man for you, and let him come down to me. If he be able to fight with me and to kill me, then will we be your servants. Then will we be your servants. If he can fight me and kill me, then we'll be your servants. Okay? But if I prevail against him and kill him, then shall ye be our servants and serve us. And the Philistine said, I defy the armies of Israel this day. Give me a man that we may fight together. When Saul and all Israel heard the words of the Philistine, they were dismayed and greatly afraid, because they don't have a warrior that can stand up to Goliath. They don't have a champion like Goliath. They're afraid. They're like, oh, we're about to be slaves to the Philistines. But now David was the son of the Ephrathite of Bethlehem, Judah, whose name was Jesse. And he had 8 sons. Jesse is David's father. And he had 8 sons. And the man went among them for an old man in the days of Saul. And the 3 eldest sons of Jesse went and followed Saul to the battle. And the names of his 3 sons that went to the battle were Eliab, the firstborn, and next unto him Abinadab, and then the third Shammah. And David was the youngest, and the 3 eldest followed Saul. But David went and returned from Saul to feed his father's sheep at Bethlehem. And the Philistine drew near morning and evening, and presented himself 40 days. And Jesse said unto David his son, take now for thy brethren an ephah of this parched corn, and these 10 loaves, and run to the camp to thy brethren, and carry these 10 cheeses unto the captain of their thousands, and look how thy brethren fare, and take their pledge. So they're sending David out to be like a scout. He's going to take them some offerings, and he's going to check out the camp. Now Saul and they and all the men of Israel were in the valley of Elah fighting with the Philistines. And David rose up early in the morning and left the sheep with the keeper, and took and went as Jesse had commanded him. And he came to the trench as the host was going forth to the fight, and shouted for the battle. For Israel and the Philistines had put the battle in array, army against army. And David left his carriage in the hand of the keeper of the carriage and ran into the army and came and saluted his brethren. And as he talked with them, behold, there came up the champion, the Philistine of Gath, Goliath by name, out of the armies of the Philistines, and spake according to the same words, and David heard them. And all the men of Israel, when they saw the man, fled from him and were sore afraid. And the men, everybody's afraid of this guy. David's like scouting it out. He's trying to see what's going on. And the men of Israel said, have you seen the man that has come up? Surely to defy Israel that he has come up. And it shall be that he, the man who killeth him, the king will enrich him with great riches, and will give him his daughter, and make his father's house free in Israel. And David spake to the men that stood by him, saying, what shall be done to the man that killeth this Philistine, and taketh away the reproach from Israel? For who is this uncircumcised Philistine, that he should defy the armies of the living God? And the people answered him after this manner, saying, so it shall be done, the man that killeth him. And Eliab, his oldest brother, heard when he spake unto the men, and Eliab's anger was kindled against David. And he said, why camest thou down hither? And with whom hast thou left us the few sheep in the wilderness? So I think I misspoke. David was bringing the food to the troops, not to the enemy troops to spy. He was bringing the food to the troops, but he's supposed to be watching the sheep. He's not a soldier. He's not supposed to be on the battlefield. So when he came up and was looking around and asking questions, his brothers are like, why are you here? You're supposed to be watching the sheep. You're a shepherd boy. You have no place on the battlefield. It said, why camest thou down hither? And with whom hast thou left the few sheep in the wilderness? I know thy pride and the naughtiness of thine heart, for thou art come down that thou mightest see the battle. And David said, what have I now done? Is there not a cause? And he turneth from him toward another, and spake after the same manner. And the people answered him again after the former manner. And when the words were heard which David spake, they rehearsed them before Saul, and he sent for him. And David said to Saul, let no man's heart fail because of him. Thy servant will go down and fight with this Philistine. And Saul said to David, thou art not able to go against the Philistine to fight with him, for thou art but a youth, and he is a man of war from his youth. He's been fighting since he was a kid, David. Look at him. He's 18 feet tall. He's a giant warrior. I think they said he was actually 9 feet tall. Maybe cubits are not exactly 3 feet. But anyway, he was a big guy. He was a giant of a man. He's been fighting his whole life. He's a soldier. He's a warrior. David is a stable boy. He's a shepherd. He sits in a field and watches the sheep and writes poetry. Okay. And David said unto Saul, thy servants kept his father's sheep, and there came a lion and a bear, and took a lamb out of the flock. And I went out after him and smote him, and delivered it out of his mouth. And when he arose against me, I caught him by his beard and smote him and slew him. David's fought bears. David's fought lions. David ain't scared, because David has a secret weapon. A secret weapon. What are these guys talking about? Probably blaspheming. Bunch of blasphemers. Yeah, bunch of blasphemers. Freddie, go somewhere else with that crap. Go blaspheme somewhere else. We don't want you here. All right. Comes out, curse David as God, the Philistine said. Where was I at? Oh, he's talking about he killed the lion and he killed the bear. This is a stable boy. Here, watch this. Here. Go blaspheme somebody else's channel. I'm gonna get through this story. Quit derailing my chat with nonsense. Thy servant slew both the lion and the bear, and this uncircumcised Philistine shall be as one of them, seeing he hath defied the armies of the living God. You don't play with God's armies. David said, moreover, the Lord that delivered me out of the paw of the lion and out of the paw of the bear, he will deliver me out of the hand of this Philistine. And Saul said unto David, go, and the Lord be with thee. And Saul armed David with his armor. So David doesn't have any armor, right? Allegedly. This is important. We'll tie this in with Ephesians, putting on the full armor of God. Saul offers David his armor because David doesn't have armor. He's not a warrior. So Saul says, here, you can wear my armor. Try it on. And Saul armed David with his armor, and he put a helmet of brass upon his head. Also, he armed him with a coat of mail. And David girded his sword upon his armor, and he essayed to go, for he had not proved it. And David said unto Saul, I cannot go with these, for I have not proved them. And David put them off him. I believe that means that basically they were too big for him. He didn't fit them. The King James Version says proved. Let me see what NIV says, just because it's usually simpler language. 39. I cannot go in these because I am not used to them. So he took them off. Yeah, the King James Version where it says I have not proved them, or I have not proved it. I cannot go with these, for I have not proved them. Basically, he's saying they don't fit. They don't fit on David. He's not used to the weight. He's not used to fighting. He's not used to moving in this armor. It's clunky. It's not the right size for him. It doesn't fit. So David says, I don't need this armor. And like, you're going to go fight Goliath without armor? Do you see how much armor he's wearing? His spear is bigger than 2 of you. His spear weighs as much as you do, boy. His shield weighs 3 of you. How are you going to fight him with no armor? So he had not proved them. So he took off the armor. And he took his staff in his hand and chose him 5 smooth stones out of the brook and put them in the shepherd's bag, which he had, even in a scrip. And his sling was in his hand. And he drew near to the Philistine. So he goes to the river. He has a staff and he has a sling. Not like a slingshot. Not like a slingshot, but like a sling where it's a long rope with a pouch. Put a rock in it. Spin it above your head. Let it go. That's the sling David had. These are his weapons. He's got a sling. He's got a staff, no armor, but he does have armor. That's the surprise is that David is wearing armor. He's wearing the full armor of God. He's got all the armor on. He doesn't need any extra weighty armor because God's got his back. He drew near the Philistine. He has his sling out. And the Philistine came and drew near unto David, and the man that bare the shield went before him. And when the Philistine looked about and saw David, he disdained him. For he was but a youth, and ruddy, and of a fair countenance. His skin was light. He didn't look like he had worked much in his life. He looked like a little boy. Goliath's like, you're going to have me fight this little boy? What the heck? And the Philistine said unto David, am I a dog that thou comest to me with staves? Am I a dog that you come to me with a stick? You're bringing a stick? Am I a dog? That's what Goliath says. And the Philistine cursed David by his gods, lowercase g. Their gods with lowercase g. And the Philistine said to David, come to me, and I will give thy flesh unto the fowls of the air and the beasts of the field. Goliath tells David, I'm going to kill you, and I'm going to throw you to the dogs. Because you think I'm a dog, you're coming to me with a stick, I'm going to feed you to my dogs, little boy. That's what Goliath said. Then said David to the Philistine, thou comest to me with a sword and with a spear and with a shield. But I come to thee in the name of the Lord of hosts, the God of the armies of Israel, whom thou hast defiled. This day will the Lord deliver thee into mine hand, and I will smite thee and take thee head from thee. And I will give the carcass of the hosts of the Philistines this day unto the fowls of the air and to the wild beasts of the earth. And all the earth may know that there is a God in Israel. And all this assembly shall know that the Lord saveth not with sword and spear, for the battle is the Lord's, and he will give you unto our hands. The battle is not done with the sword and spear. We wrestle not against flesh and blood. The battle is the Lord's. It's not about who has the most armor. It's not about the biggest guy. It's not who has the biggest sword and the biggest spear. It's about who God has their back. If God is for me, who can be against me? And it came to pass when the Philistine arose and came and drew nigh to meet David, that David hasted and ran toward the army to meet the Philistine. And David put his hand in his bag and took hence a stone and slang it and smote the Philistine in his forehead, that the stone sunk into his forehead, and he fell upon his face on the earth. So David, and that kind of anticlimactic, but it's just like the Boagrius versus Achilles scene in Troy, where there's this huge buildup, It's tense. Everybody's like, what's about to happen here? This kid's about to get killed. This little guy's about to get murdered by this giant monster. And then it's over that fast. Just how Achilles ran up and went shrink, and the fight was over in one swift move. David runs at him. David's running. Goliath's probably standing there looking confused, like, okay, what's this little kid gonna do to me? David starts running at him. Breaks out the sling, puts a rock in it. Boom! Boom. One shot. He didn't even need all 5 rocks. He needed one rock. Hit him square in the forehead, sunk the stone into his forehead, and the giant collapsed. The giant was down. The giant was down. He fell upon his face to the earth. So David prevailed over the Philistine with a sling and with a stone, and smote the Philistine and slew him. But there was no sword in the hand of David. Therefore David ran and stood upon the Philistine, and took his sword, and drew it out of the sheath thereof, and slew him, and cut his head off therewith. And when the Philistines saw their champion was dead, they fled. And the men of Israel and Judah arose and shouted and pursued the Philistines until thou come to the valley and to the gates of Ekron. And the wounded of the Philistines fell down by the way to Sharaim, even unto Gath and unto Ekron. And the children of Israel returned from chasing after the Philistines, and they spoiled their tents. And David took the head of the Philistine and brought it to Jerusalem, but he put his armor in his tent. So he left the armor with the people. He took the head back to his town. And when Saul saw David go forth against the Philistines, he said unto Abner, the captain of the host, Abner, whose son is the youth. And Abner said, As thy soul liveth, O king, I cannot tell. And the king said, Inquire thou who is the son the stripling is. And as David returned from the slaughter of the Philistine, Abner took him and brought him before Saul with the head of the Philistine in his hand. And Saul said to him, Whose son art thou, thou young man? And David answered, I am the son of thy servant Jesse, the Bethlehemite. I am the son of my father. And that's it. David slew Goliath with a stone. The moral of the story is that doesn't matter how much things stacked against you, it doesn't matter what the odds seem like, if you have faith in God, then you don't have to worry about anything. God's not going to give you more than you can handle. May look like there's a giant there with a spear that's going to take you out, but you can handle it because God got your back. You don't need armor. You don't need to put on this bulky earthly armor, that you think you have, that you think is going to save you, because it's not going to save you. It's not going to save you. You put on Satan's armor, that heavy worldly armor, God will just slip a little stone right into your forehead and you'll drop on your face. You will die. You will suffer and die. Whereas if you put on the armor of God instead of the worldly armor, and you have faith in God, then nobody can come against you. No armies can come against you. No world, no demons, no Satan. You can win every fight. You can win every battle. And then they were eating cereal out of his skull. I don't know if that's in the Bible, but I didn't see that verse. But speaking of cereal, they have a new Peeps cereal for Easter. I think I want to try it. Anyway, yes, you can stand against Goliath. The biblical account of David and Goliath is one of the most popular Bible stories ever. It teaches courage, faith, and overcoming what seems impossible. David was the youngest of Jesse's 12 sons. One day the nation of Israel was called to fight. Okay, I'm just trying to read some commentary from BibleStudyTools.com. This familiar Bible story reminds us of the courage in men's hearts when their faith is placed entirely in God. Goliath taunts David, but David's faith becomes evident when he does not cower under the threats, but instead warns Goliath with the hand of God. The armor he rejected represents man's strength, while David chose the armor of God. Facts! See, I said that. I didn't even read this, but I knew it. I knew they were going to tie it in with the armor of God, which is later talked about in Ephesians. Putting on the full armor of God. We did a Bible thumper study breakdown of the full armor of God a long time ago. You can search through the catalog of streams and find it. But that's what happened. The Philistines turned and ran when they saw their giant hero killed. Israel had won the battle because a boy who had faith and trusted God. Based. Let's freaking go, David. Summary and analysis. We don't really need a summary and analysis. The story of David and Goliath is one of the most iconic and celebrated tales from the Old Testament. Virtually everyone vaguely acquainted with the Bible stories knows that David, as a young boy, slew the giant Goliath. The story is an inspiring example of how the plucky underdog could defeat someone much bigger than him against the odds. Except there are two problems with this story that virtually everyone knows. First was it, and this is a critical of the story, was it actually David who slew Goliath? And second, perhaps even more intriguingly, was David really the underdog in that fight? Let's delve deeper into what the Bible actually says about the David and Goliath encounter and offer analysis of its meaning. But first, here's a brief summary. So I want to see what they say. They're probably going to say it was somebody else and not David. Let's see. King James follows him, but it really won't do. The original Hebrew text does not name a brother at all, but Goliath himself. As you'll see, most translations do not follow the King James Version, making Goliath the brother of Goliath, instead choosing to retain the inconsistency. Hold on. The story of David overcoming Goliath is told in 1 Samuel chapter 17. If we return to 2 Samuel 21:19, we find something to surprise us. There it is told how Elhanan, the son of Jeroboam, a Bethlehemite, slew Goliath, the Giggite. Yes, you read that right. The first book of Samuel, David slew Goliath, but in the second book of Samuel, we are told that a man named Elihan slew Goliath. So which of them did it? Scholars believe that although we first encounter Goliath in 1 Samuel when he is killed by David, the original killer of Goliath was actually Elhanan. The authors altered the original text to credit the victory to David, so he was associated with the heroic deed. This is why you can't be a King James only person. I know the King James only people go crazy thinking there's only one possible way to read this, but sometimes you have to compare and contrast. That's how the Bible is verified and validated. The historicity and all that is verified and validated, is because we have thousands of manuscripts and we can compare and contrast different stories. So they'll say that it's an inconsistency because in the King James Version, 1 Samuel says David killed Goliath, the Philistine. 2 Samuel says that Elhanan killed Goliath, the Giggith. So, what's the truth? Well, you find the truth by taking all of the different manuscripts. We have over 14,000 original manuscripts from all over the world, multiple countries that had no knowledge of each other writing the same exact stories, slightly differing. Then when they compiled it into the King James Bible, there was a lot of fishy stuff going on. And this is why, even though I was raised King James only, Trinitarian, free will, I've learned that a lot of that stuff, you can't trust that stuff. Because if you do, then you're not being genuine. And somebody like Freddie's going to call you out on a contradiction. If you learn to spot these contradictions and you research into them, then you can justify it. You could say there's two writers. Maybe one of them got the story wrong, or maybe they changed it in the King James Version for the Hebrew text for a better story. Who knows? Regardless, the point is somebody killed the giant. Somebody killed the giant. And that's why every culture and every civilization has this story in it, because it did happen. It's just how the story is told. These things aren't contradictions. They're just translation errors. When the King James Version was written, they only used the Textus Receptus, which was 6 manuscripts, and 2 new manuscripts came out of nowhere while Erasmus was translating it. That's where they included a lot of the Trinity stuff, a lot of the stuff you see in Revelation, that is not accurate in the King James Version of the Bible. I don't read the King James because it's the most accurate. It is not the most accurate. We have much more later manuscripts and transcripts that make more accurate versions of the story. Okay? That doesn't mean that this is a bad version. It just means that they had less to go off of. And if you read in the beginning, it will usually tell you right in the beginning that this is an incomplete work. This is the first English translation using only the 8 manuscripts of Textus Receptus that we had at the time. Later, we had more text. We have like 14,000 different documents, and we can collaborate, or we can corroborate everything and test it against each other to find the truth. So, doesn't mean that this is not true. It just means that there might be some inaccuracies in it because it's the first version. I like this version because the old language puts you into the mind state of the people at that time. You don't want to read a modernized English Bible all the time because it helps to read slower. If you read this version, it's going to make you read slower. It's going to make you take your time and really try to understand what's being said in the old language. It's going to kind of put you in their shoes and make you feel like you're back then, because you can't think of this stuff from a modern perspective. This stuff happened thousands of years ago. The records are harder to keep accurate. There's going to be variations between different people's accounts and different writers' accounts. That's to be expected. That's to be expected when you're checking historicity and accuracy on any type of documents. Any type of documents through all of history. So just throwing that out there, whether it was Elhanan or David, one of the Israelites killed Goliath, killed the giant. That's the story. So the story could have inaccuracies in names. The story still happened. Grandma said they was my magic shows. But I do want to see about the later Hebrew book of Chronicles resolves this inconsistency by changing Goliath to the brother of Goliath and giving this phantom brother the name Lamni. But as is Kristen Swenson observes in her wonderfully informative, A Most Peculiar Book, The Inherent Strangeness of the Bible, the primary goal of Chronicles is to lionize David. So it is hardly surprising that the author sought to differentiate between David's supposed feat against Goliath and Elhanan's against some obscure brother of the Philistine. The King James Version of the Bible follows this helpful textual emendation, but it really won't do. The original Hebrew text does not name a brother at all, but Goliath himself. And see, so people like Freddie will say, oh, the Bible's wrong because the King James Version has an inconsistency between David and Elhanan and who killed Goliath. That's not an inconsistency in the Hebrew text. We have the original Hebrew text. Once it was written in Aramaic, we have the Aramaic. We have the Greek. We have the original. We have the manuscripts. Now, when it's translated to English by one translator who's being rushed by a king at the time who wants to make the first printed Bible with the printing press and have his name printed on the front for the rest of history, and he's rushing his translator to make sure it comes out, there's a lot of flawed men working on this project. But the thing is, just because this may have some errors in it, doesn't mean the Bible is a lie or the Bible is wrong, because we have the original manuscripts. All you got to do is learn Hebrew. Learn to read Hebrew. Get yourself an interlinear Bible, which will tell you the original Hebrew, and you can compare and contrast it with your NIV, your ESV, your KJV, your NKG, your Message, your Gideon's. You can compare and contrast all of them with an interlinear Bible, and you can go to the original Hebrew and see what the truth is. You can find the truth. When people try to challenge you on these things, you can be prepared for it. But regardless, the message of the story is still clear. It's about overcoming adversity, overcoming obstacles by having faith in God instead of having faith in the world. That's the message. If the message is true, whether this version has different names and another version has other names, that doesn't matter, because this is not the original script. This is not the original text. This is an English translation that was made 1,400 years after Jesus was around. So when you ever talk to a new King James only person, let them know they don't know what they're talking about. They need to go learn Hebrew or at least get an interlinear Bible and start, doing some cross-checking and cross-referencing. But they don't do that. But that's it. True Goliath is a giant of the man, 6 cubits in height. Still a powerful tale. The message it imparts to his readers is nevertheless valuable because even if David wasn't quite the underdog he's usually taken to be, he demonstrates a keen understanding of military tactics in order to defeat the much larger brutish foe. Yeah, another thing that they're being critical of, and I like being critical of the Bible, just so you know, if people are like, Josh, why are you telling us about this stuff? Why are you like rebuttaling the story or being critical of the Bible? We need to be critical of the Bible because that's how you find the truth. You can't just take this book that you bought at Barnes & Noble because it says what it says on it and trust everything. You have to be critical. You have to analyze it. You don't have to. You don't have to. You could just read the story, hear the story, watch a YouTube video, and take the message for what it is. You don't really need to do all this stuff, but I like to do this stuff because I like to argue with people. And when Freddie wants to argue with me about how the Bible's plagiarized and blah, 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 I want to be able to know where we got the historicity from, what documents we're using, what are we checking, what are we cross-referencing to figure out the truth. And so basically, that's it. They're saying that David was actually trained in war and he was around the battlefields a lot. And then the other thing is also David was not the underdog either. David is not the underdog in the story because David is a soldier for God. Or Anahim or whatever they said the name was. Whoever it was, regardless of whether they had military training or not, they're not the underdog in the story. Goliath is the underdog. David was not the underdog because there's no chance that David was going to lose. No chance. That's what you got. No chance in hell. Goliath had no chance. David was not the underdog because David had God at his. You can't be the underdog if you're wearing the armor of God and you got faith. So that's that. That's that. That's all the thumping I got to do for tonight. That's all the thumping. All right. Hebrew Nationals. Are we talking about hot dogs again? Okay. We're done with the Bible study. That's the story of David and Goliath, or Enamam and Goliath, or whatever. Yeah, next time, if you ever talk to a King James only person, ranting and raving about how perfect the King James Version is, the only perfect word of God. It's the perfect word of God, inspired and written by God Himself. The disciples were the pen, and God was the writer. Whenever you hear somebody say that, ask them how come in 1 Samuel David kills Goliath, but in 2 Samuel somebody else kills Goliath. They're not going to be able to answer you because they really haven't looked into it. So when they find out that it doesn't actually say David and Goliath in the Hebrew, that Chronicles was trying to lionize or glorify David, so they kind of bolstered David up. They added a few stories to David, but I'm pretty sure David is the one that killed the lion and the bear. He's the shepherd that killed the lion and the bear. And then they wanted to make him more of a hero later, so they replaced the unnamed guy that wasn't really a big story who killed Goliath. They said David killed Goliath. That's what happened. Anyway. All right, I got like 10 minutes, guys, before I got to go, right? I started 5:30, 6:30, 7:30, 8:30. That's 3 hours. Cool. Anything else? Take some time to chill. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribed. If you like the show, tell a friend. If you hate the show, tell everybody. We got super chats. We got memberships. You can be a member. Sometimes when the streams get a little off the rails, I put them on members only. But you can become a member. You get the emojis. You get all that stuff. You can do a Cash App. You can do a super chat. YouTube takes 30%. You can do a Cash App. Cash App Dreadedconservative. $ Dreadedconservative. You want to buy me a coffee. You want to buy me a beer. You want to buy me a sandwich when I'm at work. Hit up the Cash App. I appreciate it. And that's all the shilling. Shilling. Remember that? Xena got gay. Used to love watching. You talking about Xena Warrior Princess? Did she kill Goliath? I bet you she killed a Goliath in one of the episodes. All right. Do we have anything else? Anything else? Any interesting breaking news? Let's check breaking news before I go. See if anything new happened today. Trump wins the Colorado ballot disqualification case at the Supreme Court. I talked about that. Super Tuesday's coming up. State of the Union address. We will be live streaming that on Friday. Thousands escape from Haitian prisons after gangs overrun them. Oh, great. Great. Where are they going to go? I bet you they're going to come to America. Thousands escape Haitian. Gangs in Haiti try to seize control of main airport in newest attack on key government sites. What? What is this?
Of the 72 centers designated by the National Cancer Institute, Dana Farber has played a foundational role in over.
Haiti is used to violence, with up to 80% of the capital, Port-au-Prince, controlled by gangs. But what happened at the weekend was a new descent into chaos, with up to 4,000 prisoners freed when gangs stormed the country's 2 largest prisons.
Wow. And where are they going to go? They're going to go to Mexico, and then they're going to come across the border. Thanks, Joe Biden.
To topple the government of the country's Prime Minister, Ariel Henry. Now, one of the key players in this is a gang leader called Jimmy.
Bro, be a professional. Can you be a professional? Can you, like, spend less time on your fake eyelashes and your nose ring and more time doing something with your hair? I know I shouldn't talk about hair because I'm a white guy with dreadlocks, but you're a woman. Make yourself prettier. What the heck?
Charizier, also known as Barbecue. He had said previously that he was going to take hostage the country's police chief.
That's not a barbecue. They're barbecuing people.
What's next for Haiti? Well, it's difficult to say in a country which has been in crisis for so long. Ariel Henry was in Kenya, finalizing.
You did hit the Cash App? Hey, thank you, Lord Spike. Shout out Lord Spike Protein. I appreciate it, my friend. My man got a chainsaw hand and a broomstick. What? Who is that? Let's see. Ooh, shout out Lord Spike. Oh, maybe you meant. Oh, maybe it was another time. Oh, no, there it is. Cool. Is this from just you or multiple people? I got to get to where it tells me who sent it. I can never figure out who sent it. How do I? The heck? Gift card, Taco Bell. Why is it not telling me? Where do I get to see who sent it? The heck? Oh, yeah. Shout out Lord Spike. Hey, Lord Spike sent a nice one. Thank you, Lord Spike. I appreciate it. I appreciate it, sir. She kind of looks like Emma Stone a little bit. Yeah.
The sending of
She's got a mustache. She's got a dang Hitler stash.
A multinational force to the country, which has been mired in Kenya's internal bureaucracy.
Bro, I can't tell for sure, but it looks like she has a mustache.
US President Joe Biden has refused to commit troops, although he has sent logistics and money. And Henry has promised elections in mid-2025, but he's made this promise before.
I agree, Stubborn One. I agree.
So it remains to be seen whether elections will go ahead, and if they do, what impact they will have.
That's crazy. 4,000 prisoners escaped in Haiti. The gangs have taken over the prisons. What is that, like Escape from New York? Isn't that a movie or something? The gangs have taken over the prisons and released everybody in Haiti. And they're all going to be coming to America. I promise. Wow. That's crazy. Well, that's breaking news. Any other breaking news that we haven't seen? Alan Weisselberg, former Trump CFO, pleads guilty to perjury. Looks like we had a shooting in Salt Lake City. Looks like that's it for the breaking news. All right. I think we covered all the news. We got our Bible studying done. That's a feminine mustache, though. It was like a blonde. It looked like she had a blonde mustache. Maybe it was just lines in her lip. But, yep, you got to ammo up. If you're not firearm literate, ask someone you know who is. We gun fanatics love to discuss and share knowledge about our passion. These people will help you get the right personal protection. Yep. You got to get ready. It's coming. Something's coming. It's gonna be crazy this year. As we get closer to the elections, they're either gonna have to put in somebody instead of Joe Biden, or they're gonna have to stop the election somehow. Fleckus says the power's going out. I like that. I don't like that, but I think that's a very big possibility. Power goes out, something like that, but who knows? But all right, I gotta jump off, guys. Gotta get ready for work. Have a good night, everybody. God bless. Thank you for watching the show. Hit the like button on your way out. Hit the like button. Oh, wait, we need a different. Hit the like button on your way out. God bless everybody. From Salt Lake City, Utah, I am your host, Josh Smith. The world's a crazy place. I'm just reporting on it. I will talk to you guys later. I don't know if we'll do any gaming streams this week because I got to do some editing of the California videos. I've been slacking on that. But we will definitely live stream during the State of the Union address on Thursday. Other than that, I got nothing else to say. I'll talk to you guys later. I'm out. Peace.